Evening, another severe weather update here as we approach 7:35 p.m. A tornado watch has just been issued. This is now extended to the east. It now includes all of central Oklahoma and much of eastern Oklahoma, including the Tulsa area. And the only areas not in this is far southeastern Oklahoma. So what this means is that from now until 1 a.m., the possibility of thunderstorms moving through with the risk of not only severe weather, but also tornadoes. Again, tornado watch in effect for the metro from now until 1 a.m. as these storms continue to move east. So taking a look at live radar now, we have a couple of tornado warnings in effect, and the shading of this is purple. So this is a confirmed tornado warning right now that is moving off to the northeast very quickly. And as we take a look at the velocity signature here, notice the greens. This is motion that's moving toward the radar, the reds away from the radar. So here's the circulation. It's right there near Leedy, and it's going to be quickly moving off to the northeast. And then we have another tornado warning now that's located down the line. This is now to the south, and this is also a confirmed tornado warning as this moves off to the east toward Hobart and areas just to the north. We take a look at the shear rate with this, and you can see that it's showing rotation along this line. So this is the deal. There's a strong line of damaging wind gusts, and then embedded within the line, there are small circulations that are capable of producing tornadoes, and that is exactly what we're seeing unfold now with two confirmed tornadoes located in the state of Oklahoma. Again, these are quickly moving off to the east. So here's the storm track of the entire line that's now across the western portions of our state. But again, it's moving fast to the east. And look at some of these time of arrivals here. Should be approaching the Moore area by 8:30. And then as we get closer to Norman, that should be coming in as we get closer to about 9 o'clock, 8:45, 9 o'clock, the way it's looking right now, because the storms are moving to the east at about 70 miles per hour at this time, with the risk for damaging winds. And again, isolated tornadoes will continue to be a threat here. So the moderate risk for severe weather continues from southwestern through central Oklahoma as we go throughout the rest of the evening and into the overnight hours. And there's also a 10% tornado area. We're already seeing confirmed tornadoes. That threat will continue. However, it will start to come down once the storms start to reach the metro. But again, something we can't rule out, a tornado risk lasting well through the evening hours until around midnight. But again, by far the biggest threat is the damaging wind gusts that could exceed 80 to at times 100 miles per hour. So here it is. The swath of damaging wind gusts will include the Norman area and the OKC metro. This is going to be a big concern as these storms continue to move east throughout the evening. The good news out of this is that the hail sizes will not be too large. Quarter size or smaller by the time these storms reach the metro area. So here's a look at Futurecast. Notice the storm is moving east by 8:30. By around 9 o'clock, that's when they're going to be moving in to OKC and Norman. Stay with us here as we will be wall to wall as these storms are moving in to Norman. And then after that, the storm's quickly moving east, and by around 1 or 2 a.m., they're already shifting out into Missouri. So that's how fast they're moving today. It's only going to be about 30 minutes of a risk in any one given location due to the fast storm notion. So again, if you're just joining us here, a tornado watch has been issued now. This includes Norman, all of central and much of eastern Oklahoma. And then we have two confirmed tornado warnings in the western part of our state that are quickly moving off to the east. Other severe thunderstorm warnings with wind gusts up to around 70 to 80 miles per hour. So now we're going to take a look at some video that we have received. And this is coming in, and just listen to how strong the winds are. The flag whipping in the winds from Sayre, Oklahoma. Some extremely strong wind gusts going on in this part of the state. So this is the weather that is making its way through to the east, and it is affecting a widespread area. We're talking about the potential, folks, for widespread wind damage with this event. Also the risk of power outages beginning to increase now, and we will go to Dana with an update on that part of our story tonight.
Thanks, Josh. Yes, sirens have gone off in Clinton, Oklahoma. So make sure that you guys are paying attention and waiting for those sirens to come. Now, the National Weather Service here in Norman has given us some steps on some actions to take. Prepare to shelter in an interior room. Stay away from windows. Go to the lowest floor of your house and stay off the roads as we are tracking these storms. They will be coming to campus here around 9 p.m. and OU Nightly is the only media outlet that is focused specifically on here in Norman and specifically what is going on here in campus. So now let's take one last look, or let's check back in with Colton Williams, our weather expert, and let us know what we're looking at.
Yeah, that's right, folks. Continuing to track severe weather here across central Oklahoma. And we have, again, severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings in effect now here as we, again, go into the 7, 8, and 9 o'clock hours. And again, you got here OU Nightly. We're the only media outlet focused on Norman and the campus area. Okay, so here we go. This is the whole line of thunderstorms. Now, I'm going to step out of the way and let you see it as it progresses across the state. You can see there it's a long line of thunderstorms from the Kansas border all the way down into the Texas Panhandle. You can see here it's a large line. Again, several severe thunderstorm warnings as well as confirmed tornadoes going on here across parts of Oklahoma. Okay, all right, so here we go. This is our line of thunderstorms now. Let's go up here to the northern side. We'll go from north down here across Oklahoma. Again, this very intense line of thunderstorms that's moving, again, at times 60 to 70 miles per hour, okay? All right, so here we go, looking at Roger Mills and into Dewey County. This purple box, this polygon, this means that this is a confirmed tornado now that has been progressing again over the last couple of hours now, continuing to move up closer into Major County. This will be approaching the doorstep of Fairview. And here's the thing, folks. Most tornado events, we look at this and we go, okay, Fairview, 10, 15 miles away, got about 10 or 15 minutes. Not tonight. These things are moving 50 to 70, 80 to 90 miles per hour at times, and that's what's, again, going to cause problems as these quick and fast-moving tornadoes are ongoing. Okay, all right, let's jump down the line here as we head now. This is Interstate 40, okay, Interstate 40 here. You see, look how large this warning is. Let's zoom out just a bit. Look how large this warning is here that is extending from Watonga nearly back to Childress, Texas. That is a lot of folks included in one severe thunderstorm warning, okay? And this is, again, a destructive line of thunderstorms that is now squalled out, call it a bow echo, as it continues to race towards the Oklahoma City metro and well into Oklahoma. You know, this thing started out here 2 hours ago or so, and look how much ground it's made up over the last hour and a half or so. Okay, let's get now here into this second cell. There's multiple areas of rotation. We're really not dealing with the isolated supercells anymore, not dealing with the, the typical spring-like look. Now we're dealing with a line of thunderstorms with tornadoes embedded on the front line, okay? So this is, again, a confirmed tornado warning. Let's take velocity here so we can see what we're looking at. Let's go to shear rate. Let's go to shear rate here on this one. Okay, so yeah, so shear rate now, again, an area of shear. This is extending, looking like from the southern side of Roger Mills County, coming all the way down near Blair here into Greer County, okay? So, and this is an area, you see these darker greens and then your reds. That's areas of intense rotation as these continue to move from west to east. And so now this tornado warning includes the community of Hobart down to Roosevelt, moving eventually into Godebo, on to Carnegie. Again, only a few minutes away. Carnegie, this thing's going to be knocking on your door here. 15 minutes maybe, you know, as it traverses. These things are going about 1.5 miles a minute, okay? So keep that in mind. If you watch on radar, you typically hang out inside. You're not going to necessarily be able to with this event because these storms are moving really, really fast, okay? And you see that tornado warning. It extends nearly the whole county here. Looking here into Kiowa County, it extends nearly from west to east across the county because that's just how quick these things are moving. Okay, and then again, we've got more pockets of shear from Altus down to Quanah, Texas, and that is also an area we need to watch. Let's zoom out here a bit. This whole region here, the National Weather Service has advised for an increasing threat for tornadoes as we go into the next couple of hours, okay? So again, a big look here along the line, and also we're kicking in here into team coverage now for the rest of the night as these storms are going to approach I-35, the OU Norman campus. We're going to be here all night, all the updates, and it looks far away. Here's Norman, here's the front edge of that storm. They're not that far away, folks. They are booking it as they head eastbound here
And we see tornado warning after tornado warning after tornado warning on these things as they go and go and go. Okay, real quick, I know control room said we had some video. If you guys will let me know and that's ready, we can take that. Josh and Catherine, again, team coverage here. Okay, sounds good. So team coverage here, let me know if you guys have anything to keep me updated here, because we're getting a lot of information coming in all at once as these things are going quickly, okay? All right, so again, yeah, Josh, go ahead. What you got?
The tornado warning, the northern one for Roger Mills County, has been allowed to expire.
That looks, yeah, that's expired now as it's moving here as we head, well, over eventually what was going to Garfield County. So thankfully that one's gone. And again, that's what we've seen overnight, overnight, last couple of hours, we saw tornadoes and severe thunderstorms form in this region, and those were the most intense. As this thing moved along, the southern side remained the most intense. That's what we're continuing to see now. So these northern sides, really, again, very strong wind gusts. And again, guys, that's the main threat tonight, is we're looking at wind gusts 80 to 90, even at sometimes 100 to 110 miles per hour here as we go, again, into the next couple of hours, okay? So this thing is going to knock on your door, and it's going to do it in a fast and a really harsh way, okay? All right, so again, severe thunderstorm warning continues now as we head into Fairview. Again, this is Major County looking down into Blaine, Dewey, and Custer County. Large area of a severe thunderstorm warning there. Okay, we got a video coming in now. This is more video. Oh my goodness, look at those winds and the heavy rain all coming along at once. This is out of Sayre, Oklahoma, in far western Oklahoma, as this line made its way across the border here from Texas into Oklahoma. And that right there is why you don't want to get caught out in this thing. Look at this, the rain bands, they're just whipping, raining nearly sideways at times as, again, rain is being pushed by 70, 80, 90 to 100 mile per hour wind gusts at times, okay? So, and you can hear it there, again, lots of lightning, okay? So something we see in Oklahoma from time to time, this is what it can be called a derecho. Not a term Oklahomans may be accustomed to, and as we continue. And there's that circulation there just on the southwest side of Hobart. You can see where the red and the green are nearly touching. That's called a couplet. That's where the atmosphere is tight, and that's where a lowering is likely occurring at the moment, and not entirely positive if this is a confirmed tornado, but that is the line as this thing expands to the northeast that you would not want to be on. And it looks like it's making a beeline for Carnegie here and other communities here in Kiowa and Caddo counties. And again, give you perspective, here's Anadarko, okay? So we're getting closer to the metro very, very quickly. All right, we got an update. Dana Searles, what do you got for us?
Yeah, Colton, now OU Norman campus has sent out a rave alert saying that we are in a tornado warning and all of the residents' storm shelters have been opened, so students are able, I apologize, a tornado watch, so all of those storm shelters are open for students to go to. As well, I'm getting word that the parking garages here on campus are starting to fill up because people are worried about that hail threat coming in and those winds and just damage being done to those cars. So those parking garages are filling up, but a note that the storm shelters are open and will be open tonight while we are in that tornado watch. So let's give it back to our OU Nightly weather experts, Colton Williams. Colton, what's it looking like? When can we see it coming to campus?
Yeah, that's right. Okay, good update there, Dana. Good work as always. Continuing to watch this line as it moves closer to the Oklahoma City metro. Again, get your bearings straight. Okay, here's I-40 looking into western Oklahoma. And look, it seems like we blinked and a couple minutes ago this whole thing was off in Texas and we were waiting for it to get to Oklahoma. It's producing tornado here and there. Now the entire line is made it across into the Oklahoma border. And again, this thing is hauling as it gets close to the Oklahoma City metro at times 70 to 80 miles per hour. And we're going to work out some times here for you. Time of arrival here, again, as we go into the next couple of hours, as more severe thunderstorm warnings continue to populate along this line here into the next several hours, okay? All right, here's some times of arrival now, looking like we're going to be knocking on the door of Yukon at 8:23, okay? So keep in mind, we said any time between 8 and 10 o'clock as this thing continues to speed up, looking like 8:30-ish for the western metro, so coming through Canadian County, then eventually into Oklahoma County between 8 and 9 p.m., looking like we're going to be hanging on here. Here we go. Here's some good ones. So moving through Lawton at 8:30, into Midwest City by 8:45, so Tinker Air Force Base by 8:45. And then here's where we're concerned with is the Norman area, the campus area, moving through, looking like just before 9 p.m., talking about Sooner Mall, Max Westheimer Airport, making it to Norman High School in downtown Norman at 8:50, and onto the OU campus just a few minutes, about 10 till 9. Okay, and again, these will fluctuate just a little bit as this line continues to progress, but keep in mind, as these continue to track closer, the environment is better in this region of Oklahoma than anywhere else right now for tornado development. Okay, and so as that continues to track eastward, keep that in mind as we make it, again, we're looking probably about 100 miles away now, but as these things are moving as quick as they are, they will be here before we know it. Okay, so tornado warning continues now here for parts of Kiowa County. This northern tornado warning has been allowed to expire. So looking here for tornado warning here, which ultimately did have a confirmed tornado at one point, as we knew just several minutes ago. Let's go back to shear rate really quickly here on this, and let's see what our rotation looks like. So that is a violent shear rate signature. Would not be surprised if there is a significant lowering associated with this, as this is approaching Hobart, again, here in Kiowa County. So this is the bulk of Kiowa County here, from north to south, a large band of shear associated, and this is likely, so here's what's happening. As this front line, yeah, and see, maybe a little bit of debris signature there, but overall, still looking pretty quiet, thankfully. But there's that couplet, and that's the area you want to watch there as it tracks into Hobart. In fact, this tornado warning, it looks like it's made it just to the northern side of the warning. You know, to me, it looks like this warning really should extend this way. Josh, let's track that on to Carnegie here at about 70. Let's go 70 into Carnegie. And yeah, that's how fast these things are moving, folks. That is probably just a few minutes away. We're looking at Carnegie at 8:18. Right now it's 7:51, give or take 30 minutes and 25-30 minutes to traverse a lot of area in here, okay? So big time speed associated with that. And again, that couplet continues to intensify, and it looks to me like, is this a new tornado warning on the north side?
That was actually an old one.
Okay, so this is old, but as this rotation now moves up into that environment, you would think that the northern tornado warning is currently the more important one. So this circulation, which may or may not be on the ground, it's currently not reported.
You got a confirmed tornado?
Yeah, confirmed tornado. Let's go. We're at
4 miles west of Hobart.
So that's just about right. That's where we're looking. Okay, so here we go. So Josh, let's zoom in here. Let's zoom in a little bit. So we can go, okay, so here's Hobart. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 3.5. Let's go northwest of Hobart. Confirmed tornado now. It's going to pass just on the northern, maybe the northwestern side of Hobart here. You know, currently downtown Hobart looks good, and that's exactly what you expect when you see a confirmed tornado. That is what we call a drop in correlation coefficient. That is essentially detecting debris that gets lofted into the atmosphere as a tornado passes through. Okay, so here's State Highway 9 now, not the same Highway 9 that runs through Norman. Okay, this is not knocking on the door of Norman. Let's keep that in mind. But as this debris continues, we'll track this. And again, you see it's here, and then here in a second when the radar updates, it's going to be over here because these things are moving so fast. Okay, let's go back to velocity, Josh. Take a look there. And yeah, the couplet is intense. We now know this is a confirmed tornado warning on the northwest side of Hobart. And it's approaching, looking like Highway 183. Highway 183 and Highway 9. That's the intersection of Hobart, Oklahoma, folks. And that's where this tornado is about to make it. So yeah, so you see here our tornado polygon is purple. We know this is now a confirmed tornado. Let's zoom out just a little bit. We're going to Godebo here in just a second. Let's see how far on the north side of Godebo are we going to pass with this thing. Godebo should be right here. Yeah, there it is. Let's lapse this a little bit, see what we're looking at. So you can see the circulation develops very rapidly. There it goes, north side of Hobart. It is currently intensifying. As it continues to intensify, that's the way these spin-ups work. On a night like, typically we deal with these events. We look at spin-ups, they come up quick, do a little bit of damage, then they go away fast. On a night like tonight, this thing comes up quick, and this thing has the potential to hang tight with us for a while, okay? But currently looking like it's going to pass on the north side of Godebo. So here in winds of 111, we know where that's at, folks. Winds of 111. Not surprised at all, actually. Tonight expecting wind gusts upwards of 110 miles per hour. So 111, not surprised. Okay. Okay, all right, well, we'll keep working on that report. Okay, let's jump back out on the line. Is this the only tornado warning we're dealing with? We focused on this one for a minute. So yeah, folks in Kiowa County, moving into Caddo County, take your tornado precautions. Right now, the only tornado warning in town, okay, as this line continues. Josh, let's do this. Let's zoom in here, into Jackson County. Let's go here. Let's do some base velocity, and let's see if we can measure the leading edge of this line. As it approaches the radar can detect wind speeds actually quite well. So just move through Altus. Let's query some of these right along the leading edge here and see what we're looking at in terms of wind gusts. So 75 right there on the Red River, 75. Do just east of Altus, Josh. Let's see what we got. So 50, 60, 70 miles per hour. That's radar indicated. We're hearing reports of 100, 110 miles per hour. Yeah, go ahead, Catherine. What you got?
They canceled the severe thunderstorm warning in Roger Mills.
Roger Mills County severe thunderstorm warning canceled. Okay, good to know. Again, the northern side of this line continues to die away as the southern side continues to intensify. And that's what we expect, because this is the most conducive region for tornado development over the next couple of hours. Okay, let's get back in here on the line real quick before we get an update from Dana, because I think our power outage situation probably has some updates. And again, you get wind gusts 100, 110 miles per hour, you start to do some damage to the power grid here. All right, so there's your notch. Let's zoom in right here. Let's look at this for just a minute, and then we'll get over to Dana for an update. So there's what's called the inflow notch. That's sucking in moisture from the environment. That's continuing to intensify the storm. You see it's kind of beginning to separate itself there. Let's take a look at our, in fact, that may be some dime quarter size hail embedded in a line like this. Okay, yeah, there you go. That's likely dimes to quarters potentially moving through. Again, Hobart, this is what we call State Highway 9, not the same Highway 9 that runs through Norman. But okay, let's go to velocity again real fast and look at that couplet. And it's weakened in the last scan. So that's good news here on the northwestern side of Hobart. In fact, we just got a new scan, and look at that. That's how these things go, is they come up, they produce maybe some minimal damage, maybe touchdown for a brief minute, and then they go down, okay? All right, Dana Searles, we got another update from Dana here on our power outage situation. Dana, we'll go ahead.
Yeah, Colton, we're tracking those power outages across the state. Most of the western portions of the state are seeing some of those outages, so it's starting to get up there. It's nothing significant, but we could see that as it starts to come to Norman. So we're going to want to make sure that you guys here in Norman start charging your phones, having your flashlights ready just to be prepared in case those power outages do come. Now, again, to reiterate how to prepare for these storms, get to an interior room, get to the lowest level of your house. Stay away from windows, specifically the western part of the windows, because that's where the storms are coming in from. And we're going to be tracking this all throughout the night, especially here in Norman. OU Nightly is the only place covering this. Again, OU campus has set out an alert that their storm shelters are now open and that they're going to be open all night for students to go to if they need some safety and some coverage to be there. Again, we are going to be tracking this, and we are the only media outlet here covering specifically Norman. So, like I said, we're seeing power outages in the western portions of the state, which is where most of the storms are hitting right now, and those are coming our way. So be prepared and keep tracking that. We're going to be right here with you looking at that. Let's get back to our other weather expert, Kathleen Liberta, who's going to give us another update. Catherine, how are the storms looking?
Yeah, that's right, Dana. Thank you for that. One of the big things that you said was it's so important to understand just how strong these storms are. I mean, look at this live radar. These storms are just moving at such a quick speed as they head across the Oklahoma area. And one thing that you really mentioned was that you need to be prepared now. Now is the time to be prepared, because these storms are going to move in so quickly that it's really important to get prepared now. So let's zoom in on this tornado warning. We were getting some reports of very strong winds, and we can see right here. Let's go to the velocity, Josh. Let's see right here. Okay, so we were talking about earlier how these radar, because it's moving so fast that it's going to be moving like it was over here, right? You can see this coupling right here, right? Josh, can you circle that for me?
Yes.
Yeah, that is where that confirmed tornado is. Now, this was over just west of Hobart. Now it is jumped all the way. We can see on this loop. Oh, it's moved. It's a new one because that one, it moved up. There's a new one now just northeast of Hobart, and that's going to be moving towards the, can you track that out for me? See the timing? So this is moving very, very quickly through Beckham County. And let's put a track on that. As it makes its way, I mean, we'll go 70, because these are moving so quickly. So you can see 8:30, Albert, right around 8:30, and that's 30 minutes from now. So these storms are moving in very, very quickly, and we are just getting lots of reports of, we're probably seeing some hail. Josh, can we look at the hail? As we see, I mean, we can see, there it is. There it is. That hail, we gotta see about quarter-size hail. Now, like I said before, when we want to be very prepared for this storm, we talked about earlier the power outages that are starting. The garages are starting to fill up. So let's go to the video that we just got of the OU parking garage. We can see that it's already packed. I mean, we can see there's some rain. People are pulling in, trying to protect their cars from that potential hail and those very damaging winds with these storms. And so this parking lot is going to be filling up, and all the parking lots on OU's campus are going to be filling up as we head into this evening. So if you have the chance right now, move your car because those garages are going to be filling up. So let's go back to our big radar. Let's go back and look at what we are seeing right now. Can we track this out? Let's put a track on it as it makes its way towards Norman. Because like I said, this is going to be moving very, very quickly. I mean, this storm was just on the Texas-Oklahoma border, and now it's already into deep into western Oklahoma as it makes its way 70 miles an hour. Yeah, that's good. All right, as we head into this evening, right around 9 o'clock is when we should be seeing these storms reaching us here in Norman. And like we said earlier, OU Nightly is the only media outlet focused specifically on Norman and the OU campus. So if you want to know what's going to happen, stick with us because we're going to be covering this all night long. So now it's starting to speed up. We can see that Norman is now just before 9 o'clock. So these storms are rapidly intensifying and they are moving quickly as we head into this evening. So we can see Norman, Lake Thunderbird right at around 9 o'clock, Norman North, Norman High School just before 9. So pay attention, get your prepared plan now because these storms are moving in within the next hour. So as we look, let's go back to that tornado warned storm. Actually, we are going to head over and look at our campus cam in just a moment because, I mean, we aren't seeing anything just yet, but like I said, right around 9 o'clock, these storms are going to be moving in. So let's go to that campus cam really quick just to see what we're seeing outside right now. Here's OU. We can see that this is the South Oval facing towards the north. We can see these clouds moving in, and this is going to change drastically as we head over the next hour. We can go back to our map right now. Let's go back to our live radar. So now we have a that's a second tornado warning just north of Hobart.
That is still the
that's the same one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so as this moves into the central part of Oklahoma, we are going to be seeing continued reports of hail, winds, very, very damaging at this time and for the next for the rest of the evening as we move through the rest of the night. So now let's go. Let's see the shear on this, Josh. Can we get that? Yep. Strong shear. Yeah, there it is. Right, that is going to be fueling these storms. Yeah, let's zoom in a little bit. Heavy shear coming in from these storms. It's not as heavy as it was earlier, but we are going to be seeing as these storms continue throughout the night. We are just going to be watching this intensify. Let's go back to our radar. We can see that this the storm's really, I mean, it's formed a good shaping line, but we still have that tornado warning associated with it. So even though, you know, we don't have that split supercell, we are still seeing very, very strong winds and risks for that tornado. So let's zoom out a little bit. And yeah, Josh, what do you got?
Just a couple reports to pass along of some wind gusts. We have a 77-mile-per-hour wind gust in Clinton.
Okay.
And also a 73-mile-per-hour wind gust just southeast of Hobart, where that storm just moved through.
Yeah. Very, very strong winds. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Josh. We are going to continue to see those reports roll in as we head through the evening. These storms are going to continue to move east. And I mean, they are rapidly intensifying and moving so quickly. Like I said earlier, even though it's not here just yet, you need to get your plan ready, because these storms are going to be quickly approaching. We can see that here's I-44. That front end of the storm is almost to I-44. So make your plan now, because these storms are on their way. Now, as we look, can we zoom out just a little bit more? Just a tiny bit. So you can see that the northern part of this storm, it's kind of fizzled out, not as strong as it was. And this southwestern part of the state, that is what is going to have the best environment for these storms to continue to develop as we head into the evening. The National Weather Service said they said for a while that the southwestern part of the state is where we are going to see the greatest fuel for these storms, and we have seen that confirm as we are going throughout the evening. So let's toss it over to back to the OU parking garage, because while these storms are rapidly approaching, people are worried about their cars, and so they're trying to go into the garage. Can we pull up that image that we have? Here it is. People are blocked in. Is that what I'm seeing? People are double parking now. And we see this all the time when we have these hail and strong wind events come in. Everybody wants to save their car because they don't want to, have to pay if, God forbid something happens. And so people will just leave their cars in the middle of the street. Yes, Colton.
Okay, reports now. There's currently a Oklahoma City Thunder game going on at the Paycom Center. Oklahoma County Emergency Management is requesting that fans stay put at the end of the game until the storms pass through. So just keep that in mind. That's good.
That's good. That's good to know. Because, yeah, like we said, I mean, these storms are going to be moving in fairly quickly, and you want to get inside, you want to stay inside. So stay off the roads, stay inside, go to the most center and lowest part of your house as these storms start to approach, because it's important to get prepared now, because these storms are going to show up so quickly. We are going to toss it over to Dana, who is going to give us an update on what we are seeing in Oklahoma as these storms roll in. Dana.
Yeah, Catherine, we're seeing more and more power outages over in western Oklahoma. Cato County is one big with a lot of power outages. We just jumped from a little bit around 1,000 power outages to up to over 3,000 power outages in the western Oklahoma area. So, of course, that storm is headed our way to Norman, so we're going to keep you updated on when we could see that. But like I said, if these places are seeing their power outages, we could see some of those. So make sure you guys prepare by charging all of your devices, getting that all prepped. And again, like I said, seek shelter. OU Nightly is the only media outlet that is covering right here in Norman, and OU storm shelters are open for students to go to. We're going to tell you more about how to plan throughout the night. But again, let's stay away from the western windows, because that is where the storm is coming in. Also, make sure you go to an interior room in the lowest part of your house and stay off the roads, especially at these times, because like I said, these things are going to be coming through pretty soon here. Around 9 p.m. is when the National Weather Service is telling us to be prepared. So let's check back in with Catherine Liberta on when we could be seeing that in Norman and what it's still looking like out in western Oklahoma. Catherine?
Thanks, Dana. Yeah, let's look at this western Oklahoma storm. I mean, it is tearing it up out in western Oklahoma. We can see that. Josh, let's zoom in a little bit on this storm, on this tornado warning. Because if I remember correctly, they said that tornado warning was going to last until 8:15. Am I correct? 8:15, I think.
8:30.
8:30 now. 8:30. Okay, so these storms are going to continue they're right south of Carnegie. So this storm is going to be headed south now towards Chickasha. It's on its way. It's making its way just east. So as we continue to watch this, let's go back to the velocity, Josh. See what we're looking at. Yep, we have a very strong coupling there. I mean, wow, look at that. That is a lot in the atmosphere right now. 105-mile-an-hour winds. Wow.
Now, the disclaimer here is that this is getting far away from the radar, so this is looking fairly high up into the storm.
Right.
But we're still seeing many reports of wind gusts up around 80 miles per hour at the ground.
Right,
So.
right. Okay, thanks, Josh. As we look into the evening, we are going to be continuing to watch those storm gusts and those winds. Let's zoom out a little bit, and I want to put a track. Actually, stay here. I want to put a track. Sorry, Josh. I want to put a track on this to see how long it's gonna take for these storms to move towards the Chickasha area. Now, as we look into the rest of the evening, like I said, these storms are rapidly intensifying, and so as we move, let's give it about 75. Yeah, 70. That's good. All right, so in the next half hour, we are going to see this storm make its way towards Chickasha. Let's center in a little bit. OU, 8:59. OU, there it is, 8:59. As we head into this evening, right around 9 o'clock, we have been saying this for the past hour and a half now, that we are going to be seeing these storms right around 9 o'clock. So stick with us, because OU, we are covering OU and Norman. We are the only media outlet that is covering this storm as it makes its way into the OU and Norman area. So now, as we can come out of that, and let's do a bigger view. Let's do a bigger view and show when this is going to be reaching Oklahoma City, because, like you said, that thunder game, Colton, that they are telling everybody to stay inside as we move throughout the rest of the evening. So let's put a track on this as we head to see just how long. I mean, it looks like it's far away right now, but it's not, because it's moving so quickly. I mean, this storm is going to be moving at 70 miles per hour, so it's going to be on your doorstep in just a bit. So it seems we're having a little trouble with the track there. Oh, there we go. Right around 9 o'clock, like we've been saying, the Norman area, Sooner Mall, seeing it right before 9 o'clock. Oklahoma City seeing it a little sooner, about 10 minutes before 9 o'clock. So this is going to be coming in relatively soon. Yeah, Colton, what do you got?
Okay, I want to kind of give a first alert here on a new severe thunderstorm warning been issued now. That does include some folks within the Oklahoma City metro. If you can see here on your screen, a new destructive severe thunderstorm warning issued includes much of Canadian County, including the city of El Reno, down to Blaine and Caddo and Grady counties, okay, including Chickasha. This is now what we call a destructive severe thunderstorm warning. Wind gusts upwards of 80 miles per hour, not only possible, but have been reported frequently along this line. So you see how large the warning is there, right? It includes folks in Kingfisher, down to El Reno, from Tuttle down through Chickasha, all the way down to Lawton. And this is our first warning near the Oklahoma City metro. So just keep that in mind. Wind gusts, again, already being reported. Not only that, a strong wind change from the west whenever this thing arrives. So first alert there. We got to keep an eye on that.
That's good to know. Thanks, Colton. So we are going to continue to watch this. We expect this watch to push east and include the Norman and Oklahoma City area as we head throughout the evening, because these storms are just going to continue to fire up and move eastward at around 70 miles per hour. So this severe thunderstorm warning, this destructive severe thunderstorm warning is going to be in effect until 9 p.m. for this area. But like I said, we expect it to continue out as we move throughout the rest of the evening. Now, I want to toss it over to Dana Searles, who is going to have an update for us on the conditions here in Norman and across Oklahoma. Dana, what are people seeing out there?
Yeah, Catherine, OU Campus Safety just retweeted again saying that storms are going to be approaching within the hour to seek some shelter. Make sure you have that plan and prepared. We're going to be seeing those same lightning severe weather storms coming in here in just a little bit. So they said to have a plan for when those come in, seek some shelter, charge your cell phones, and be prepared for all of that as we're going to be seeing that rolling in. Like I said, OU campus does have their storm shelters open, so you guys do have that option, as well as the parking garages we are hearing are starting to fill up with students trying to move their cars in and be prepared for that severe weather and possibly those damaging winds, damaging hail. We're going to be following that. And again, OU Nightly is the only media outlet following it right here in Norman and with campus updates. So we'll be with you guys all night. Stay tuned for that and what we're going to be seeing throughout there. But now I'm going to toss it back over to our next OU Nightly weather expert who is here covering that severe weather, Josh Duncan. He's going to tell us what we're seeing. Again, power outages on the western portions of the state, and we could be seeing those power outages as we move into this. As it moves into the city, we're seeing a little over 3,000 power outages in those western portions. So we'll keep tracking that as we can see these storms coming here. Josh?
Yeah, absolutely, Dana. That is the threat that we're watching closely now, is as these storms continue to move to the east with damaging wind gusts, we're expecting the risk for power outages to begin to increase for places further to the east. So we're talking about the metro here now moving in soon, and that will be a risk of 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts moving in here within the next couple of hours. So we are continuing here with our live severe weather coverage. Thank you for joining us here on OU Nightly, also on Facebook and YouTube live streaming as well. And you can see that we're tracking these storms across the western, but now moving into the central portions of our state. And now we are probably within 1 hour of the storms arriving on campus here at the University of Oklahoma in Norman. So that is coming up here rather quickly, even though these storms are still several miles away. It's going to be the threat that's moving in here within the next hour or so. Colton?
Yeah, Josh, getting reports. Sirens are going off, and Weatherford was just checking there. Don't see anything of too much concern in the city of Weatherford. In fact, shear rate is pretty quiet, but just keep that in mind, that sirens in locations across the metro continuing as the storm approaches are sounding. Okay, so keep that in mind.
And that severe thunderstorm warning for the metro, Colton, correct me if I'm wrong, is for 80 mile per hour wind gusts that goes up to the far western portions of the OKC metro, correct? Yeah,
that's correct. And not only that, it includes, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 counties at once here on the western side of the metro. And sirens also going off in Lawton as well. So Josh, talk over this couplet here.
So here's the deal with the sirens going off. It's entirely possible that some of these emergency managers are choosing to sound the sirens in their counties just because of the 80 mile per hour wind gusts moving through. Now keep in mind, that's about the equivalent strength of an EF0 tornado. So we can have similar damage even though it's not in the form of a tornado everywhere. The straight line winds can cause just as much damage as a weak tornado. So that's why some counties may be opting to sound the so-called tornado sirens for these destructive severe thunderstorm warnings. And that's what we may be seeing here for places like Lawton. As this storm moves in, you can see we're tracking the velocity signatures on radar, but the issue with that is that the beam height is looking rather high into the sky. But I will just tell you, we have received numerous reports of 70 to 75 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts here just over the past hour as these storms have been moving through western Oklahoma. And there's very little signal to suggest that that potential will decrease as these move into the metro, including the Norman area. Can we put a distance on this right now from campus to the closest storm just to show people how far away this is? It's only about 50 miles. And we've been telling you these are moving at 60 to 70 miles per hour. So yeah, that's why we're now less than an hour away, probably now around 45 minutes away or less from these storms getting into campus here. University of Oklahoma, Norman, and really the rest of the OKC Metro will be around that same time. These are really starting to get close. Now, it looks like we still have one tornado warning in effect, but the general trend here has been for the circulations to weaken here over the past 30 minutes. Correct me if I'm wrong, Colton and Catherine, but we still have that one tornado warning that's set to expire here in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's correct. But you were dead on a moment ago. Local law enforcement in Lawton decided to sound the sirens purely for 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts. They want folks to be inside. Also getting a report of trampolines through power lines just west of Granite. Okay, so that's what we're seeing now.
Yeah, that's definitely not good. Trampolines and power lines. We're also concerned about the risk of trees falling into power lines this evening with those wind gusts that are going to be getting up to 70 to 80 miles per hour. That is enough to knock down tree branches and cause power outages, and that's already what we're starting to see. We're just hoping that it doesn't become a whole lot more widespread, because we know that the population in the metro is a whole lot higher than the population is out in western Kansas, where these storms have already moved through. So here's this latest storm track. We're showing time of arrival here in Lawton in just the next 5 minutes or so. Get ready, you folks in Lawton, the siren's going off. It's not a tornado threat, but wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour expected as this line of storm moves in. And you really want to stay away from any westward facing windows with these storms. That's because that's the direction they're coming from. And those are the windows that are most likely to be blown out, perhaps by flying debris. If that happens, it's just a good idea to stay away from windows. And Dana has an update for us now.
Yeah, Josh, OU Campus Safety has just tweeted to move indoors at this time because lightning is approaching campus, as well as some severe winds that are coming this way. Still expected to come in around 9 p.m. Now let's take a look right in the OU parking garages. There are some cars that are trying to find parking still, but it does look like a lot of those spots are filling up. Many people parking away from the western side of the garages because, again, that's where the storm is coming in, so that still could seep into those garages from the other side of the garage. But yeah, looks like there's a lot of cars still out there. People are looking for spots. Not quite sure how much is full. There might still be a few spots out there from what I've heard. But like I said, people are still out there, and they're definitely going to be filling up soon here. But again, OU campus has their storm shelters open for students to go to. And since they did just tweet that they need to move indoors, it is important to stay alert and follow OU Campus Safety to know when to go there. Now let's take it back to Josh, who is still covering all over the place, and we're going to be right here in Norman with you guys all night.
Thanks, Dana. And as we continue to look at radar here this evening, you will notice that the strongest storms look to be near and south of I-40, and that is consistent with the Weather Service messaging. They were saying that they were looking at some of their high-resolution, rapidly updating models, and they were telling us that it was basically showing a virtual likelihood of damaging wind gusts, especially for areas near and south of I-40 in the OKC Metro here around the 9 o'clock hour. So that's the story here that we're preparing for, is as these storms continue to race off to the east, it looks like the strongest portion of the storms is near and south of I-40, but we still have severe weather to the north. Colton?
Yeah, Josh, just real quick, the tornado warning for Kiowa County, which was the only one remaining in the state, is now going to expire early, and that's going to leave us with no tornado warnings for the time being, so keep that in mind.
That is great news. However, again, we're not completely out of the clear because the tornado watch does continue until 1 a.m. So great news that there are no active tornado warnings, and the highest tornado potential is probably over with. But again, notice all the counties here shaded in yellow. Every single one of these, and again, we can give the all clear now to Elk City up through Woodward. The storms have passed you. These are moving very quickly. They move out just as quickly as they move in. So that's the other piece of good news. But for everywhere east of the affected line of storms, that includes Tulsa, McAllister, Muskogee, OKC, down through Ardmore, places in southern and eastern Oklahoma, you still have the risk for both damaging straight line wind gusts and now what is a lower threat of tornadoes, but it is certainly not zero here as we go throughout the rest of the evening hours. So taking a closer look now, we're starting to see these storms moving very close to the western fringes of the metro. So Blaine and Caddo counties, these storms getting close to you, and we're, again, looking around velocity to see exactly what the winds are picking up from the radar. But really, we have received, again, numerous reports of 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts. So regardless of exactly what the radar is showing, the ground truth reports from the measurement stations and from storm spotters tells us that these storms are still packing quite the punch as they race to the east, and again, now approaching the western fringes of the metro. So it is starting to rain now, it appears, in El Reno, but the heaviest rain still out to the west. And again, it's possible that areas near and north of I-40 will not see 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts, but still 60 mile per hour wind gusts are considered severe. So that remains a threat as well. Even if we don't get the extremely high winds, it's still going to be enough to cause damage to some trees and possibly cause power outages as the storms move into places like El Reno and also much of the rest of the metro here over the next hour. Catherine?
We were out of the clear for just a minute. New tornado warning now for Caddo County, just northeast of Carnegie. Also, a new tornado warning is coming for Burlington, Oklahoma, down in Alfalfa County. So 2 more tornado warnings on the way now, and this one already is a confirmed tornado in Caddo County.
In Caddo County, yeah. And can we zoom into this a little bit closer here, because again, this is just about a county away from the metro here. So Caddo County, and shear rate starting to show some rotation. Could we go to velocity on this storm here? And okay, there are a couple of different signatures, if I'm seeing this correctly. One that is located, it looks like, just to the southwest of Albert. Is that the one that has the confirmed tornado with it, or if they're clarifying that?
They have not clarified quite yet for this warning.
Okay.
Just northeast of Carnegie. So that's actually, that would be this. Well, both of these circulations are northeast of Carnegie.
Yes.
So both of these are possible tornadoes.
Okay, so 2 possible tornadoes within 1 tornado warning here. And again, the deal today is now that we're getting into a solid line of storms, there's a high chance of tornadoes spinning up quickly and only lasting a handful of minutes before they spin back down. So when a tornado warning is issued for your area, you have very little time to take shelter. You need to go to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building immediately, because the storms are moving so quickly off to the east. And that's the concern, is that there's limited lead time today with the tornado warnings because of the fast storm motion. So here's a storm track as this storm races off to the northeast at about 70 miles per hour. Again, right now we're seeing shear rate has now increased with this storm, showing, again, a confirmed tornado that we have in progress here in Caddo County. And you can see some time of arrivals here. It looks like we have Scott by around 8:46, Hinton 8:45, Niles 8:46, and then this will be moving up into possibly the northwest metro if it holds together that long. It's unlikely that this same tornado warning will still be on the ground for that long. But again, we can't rule out additional spin-ups anywhere along the rest of this line. And you're saying that we have another tornado warning, correct? There's another?
There was another one coming for Alfalfa County. It looks like it hasn't been issued quite yet. We'll keep that in mind.
Okay, so we will keep that in mind as well. And then, again, just want to point out, if you're just joining us here, we're still watching the storms as they move east into the metro. Catherine?
Yeah, the National Weather Service says the confirmed tornado will approach Lakiba and Binger, so to take shelter now.
Binger,
if you are
yes.
in those cities.
Absolutely, Binger. Take shelter now, because even though the rotation may be a few miles away on radar, keep in mind we're looking at data here that is a few minutes old, and the storms are just moving so fast. So it may already be knocking on the door in Binger. Shear rate, we're still watching the rotation closely, but again, we don't need any more radar evidence now that we know we have a tornado on the ground. That was the confirmed report. That's why this polygon is shaded in purple. This is a confirmed tornado warning, and it's moving northeast toward Binger. So Binger, get in your safe spot, lowest floor, interior room, and that's where you want to be as the storm moves through. And again, you will only have to be there for about 20 minutes, because by then the storm will already be off to your east. And then again, we're hearing that there may be another tornado warning forthcoming, But at the moment, I do want to explain to you the difference between the colors. If you're getting confused by this map, this peachy shade here is showing that this is the area of the strongest storms that we have. So this is the area we're watching for wind gusts up to around 80 miles per hour. Elsewhere, there are still severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, but they are for lower wind speeds. So 60 to 70 miles per hour, not quite as destructive, if you will, but still significant damaging wind potential as the storms move east. And here's kind of the problem that I'm seeing is it looks like the strongest part of the storm is taking aim at the southern metro. So that would include us right here in Norman at the University of Oklahoma. And now we're taking a look at debris detector to try to find a lowering, and we're not quite seeing that exactly, but there may be indications of debris being lofted into the air, certainly southwest of Albert here, again, just southwest of Binger, but this is quickly racing off to the northeast. So we'll continue to watch this because this is going to tell us possibly if a tornado would be confirmed by the radar. We wouldn't even need a storm spotter because the radar is now capable of seeing debris that is flying around in the air. Basically, it looks for the size of objects, and if it's not as small as a raindrop or say a hailstone, it'll go alert, alert. We have something much, much larger in the air, and that will tell us that a confirmed tornado has been located by radar. So again, shear rate showing up, this is getting awfully close to the Binger area right now. So again, you just have about a minute or two before this moves overhead with a possible tornado. Again, the report of it being on the ground a few minutes old now. I don't know if we have any new information on that yet. But yes, the risk of enhanced damaging wind threats, that's what I'm seeing here. We're showing that the strongest storms right now are really lining up to be near and south of I-40, and that includes us right here in Norman. This is a graphic posted from the National Weather Service in Norman, Oklahoma. Look at the time frame here, now through 9:30. That's from now through an hour from now. And the most highlighted risk for extreme wind gusts is right here from Cleveland County off down to Grady County, and for Caddo County, that's where we have the active tornado warning. And this is the area that would be most likely to receive wind gusts up to around 80 miles per hour, and also the threat for some embedded tornadoes. So we're watching this area particularly closely, and it just so happens to include the Norman area. So again, be keeping a very close eye on this, but notice the red portions extending across almost the entire state. This is the area we're watching for severe wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour. So even where the storms are not their strongest, they're still packing quite a punch from Enid all the way down to the Red River and portions of northern Texas. So again, an update from the National Weather Service that was issued there highlighting Norman as one of the areas at highest risk. And again, we're getting awfully close now. It is now 8:33 p.m. Thanks for joining us here on OU Nightly as our special live weather coverage continues. Dana has an update for us now at the desk.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, we are still in a tornado watch here in Norman, and we're going to be tracking that all night and specifically talking about what's going on right here on campus. Right now, power outages are slowly starting to increase a little bit closer to the city as the storm moves through. Nothing crazy yet, but we're going to keep an eye on that. Prepare your shelters now. Remember, you're going to want to be in an interior room at a lower level, away from windows, specifically windows facing the west, and make sure all of your devices are charged. Now let's check in with where the biggest threats are right now and what we could be seeing as this storm is coming to campus in just about 30 minutes here, right around 9 o'clock. Colton, what's it looking like?
Yeah, good work as always, Dana. Nice job. All right, here we go. This is unusual, to say the least, here in Oklahoma. Counted it wrong a moment ago. This destructive severe thunderstorm warning contains 11 counties across parts of the West Metro, okay? That is a big deal here in Oklahoma today. That is very unusual. Not only that, got a confirmed tornado in the middle of this thing, okay? So again, stretching, what is this, Kingfisher County, really down, I think, all the way into Comanche County and several in between for wind gusts upwards of 80 miles per hour. And again, here we go, as this thing is approaching the West Metro. This thing is going to knock on your door in a very unkind manner over the next couple of hours, okay? So All right, let's get a statewide view here so we can see sort of the reach of this thing. Okay, this is the Oklahoma-Kansas border. These are severe thunderstorm warnings continuing well into the state of Texas, and this is what can be classified as a derecho. And yeah, that's not a term we hear across Oklahoma too often as this thing progresses across, produces winds upwards of 100 miles per hour, several tornadoes, a very intense line of severe thunderstorms that is marching across the state of Oklahoma, and you see it's soon to knock on the door of Interstate 35. Okay, and again, destructive severe thunderstorm warning here, regular severe thunderstorm warning from Lawton down through Wichita Falls, all the way down again into northwest Texas, okay? All right, let's continue to track this confirmed tornado now that was in Caddo County that is soon to move into either Grady or Canadian County. Let's see where this is at now and where it's headed. Looking like the circulation may potentially just be on the south side of Hinton there, moving towards the city of El Reno. Let's see if our let's see how strong it still is. Let's go to shear rate. Here we go. Okay. So again, and here's the thing, folks. This is not like our typical severe thunderstorm setup where we have one localized area of rotation. You see, these are spin-up spots all along the line there, where there are pockets and pockets of rotation in the atmosphere that ultimately could be tornadic. And not only do you see them within this tornado warning, they're elsewhere as well. From Gracemont down to Anadarko, over here through Chickasha, in the Amber-Pocasset region, near Union City. All right, so I think our strongest area is either still here in Binger or just on the north side of Gracemont as this thing continues to race to the northeast. Let's check out velocity here. See if we still have a couplet. Yeah, we got information. Go.
We got a new tornado warning, which includes Alfalfa and Grant, Oklahoma.
Okay, Grant, Oklahoma.
Tornado warning remains in effect until 9 p.m.
Okay.
Again, for northeastern Alfalfa and northwestern Grant counties.
Okay. All right, been down there several times. Let's go up
radar
there.
indicated rotation.
So that's up here on the north side. That's and it looks like it's just about to exit Oklahoma. You can jump to VNX, Josh, and maybe we can get a better look at this. Wow. Okay, look at that. That's called the couplet there. You can literally visually see the twist in the atmosphere going on, and this is just about to exit Oklahoma. In fact, with as fast as these things are moving, this thing is just a couple of minutes away out of Oklahoma. All right, Twister lovers, Waukeeta. All right, yeah, you're not in this. Don't worry, Waukeeta's out. No more Twister in Waukeeta, at least tonight. But this thing is just moments away from exiting the state of Oklahoma and moving into Kansas. Okay, so we'll let the talented folks in southwestern Kansas deal with this. But this still, for the moment, is in Oklahoma, but is quickly racing away. So, okay, Alfalfa County. All right, so new tornado warning now. And this is now knocking on the door of Oklahoma County. Let's get a look at this tornado warning, Josh. And let's jump back to TLX if we can and see here what we're seeing. So new tornado warning now that includes several communities in the Oklahoma City metro, including Minco, Union City, over here in the Tuttle region, just including Tuttle, Mustang, and into Yukon. So there's that rotation I was just talking about. That's that new circulation just on the north side of Gracemont that is now intensified and is racing towards the Oklahoma City metro. And folks, that is a circulation that has the potential to make it into Oklahoma County and into Oklahoma City itself. Okay, so not only are we looking at very damaging winds, now we're looking at a tornado threat entering the metro as well. Okay, maybe a little bit of a lower debris detector value there in Binger. That is possible signature, of a tornado. But here's that new circulation, it seems. Just on the north side of Gracemont, moving towards Spring Creek, eventually going to Union City. Let's zoom out. Let's put a track, and let's go 70 just to be safe. Actually, let's go 75 just to be safe. If it's moving 70, we'd rather tell you it's moving 75. You take shelter earlier, right? Because these things are hauling. They're moving it, okay? As these are approaching the Oklahoma City metro. So let's go 75. And yeah, go ahead, Catherine, go ahead.
We got a first report of thunder in the northwest Oklahoma City area.
All right.
So it's moving in.
The first lightning strike in the Oklahoma City metro. It may not have been the first, but it sounded like the first. Okay. All right. Good stuff there. Okay. So that is, again, just north of Gracemont. Okay. And it's moving into Tuttle and into Banner at 9 o'clock. You can't drive from Gracemont to Banner from 8:40 to 9 o'clock, okay? So that's how quick these things are going. So if you were in Gracemont and you're trying to get out of there, you're not going to outrun it, okay? So again, as these things make their way towards you, take your immediate tornado precautions, all right? That means head to your storm cellar or your basement. If you don't have a basement, go to the lowest level, center part of your home, put as many walls between you and the tornado as possible, stay away from windows. If you've got to, if you want to, throw on long pants, long socks, boots, gloves, helmet, goggles, the whole 9 yards, get in the bathtub with a mattress on top of you, okay? You will be okay if you ride out these tornadoes in a safe spot that's not a cellar tonight. Obviously, if you have the cellar, head to it. But if not, those tornado precautions, they will protect you, okay? Okay, so again, circulation is booking it from Gracemont into the metro, and it's doing it fast, going from Yukon to Mustang quickly. Yeah, go ahead, guys.
So that circulation around Binger,
Yeah.
The CC looks like we've got some lowering there. The velocity doesn't look very impressive,
Okay.
but it's definitely still there, that circulation.
And here?
So, yep.
So we've got,
It's right
again,
there, yeah.
still
That's
the
the
lowered CC on
circulation.
Binger, which, by the way, was a confirmed tornado, which could still continue to be a tornado. And then now we have extra areas that we're needing to worry about. So these are, again, two different circulations along the line that we continue to have to watch here, okay? And yeah, look at that shear rate all up and down the line, and it's going to progress northeastward. So yeah, that could be of at least some level of concern, because we do have, of course, tornado warnings as they continue into Oklahoma State. Let's do velocity again. Also, hey, let's check this out real fast. A quick area of shear. Okay, it doesn't look like much. We're good. We're good. We can hang on velocity. Sorry, Josh. Let's see what we've got here in terms of velocity. Just trying to look for couplets. You kind of look for these little areas of spin along velocity, and you can see here along the line, it looks like you may have one little notch and then another little notch and another one and another one. This thing is turning all along the front line, and with the environment we've got, we see a continued threat of spin-up tornadoes. Wondering, as this approaches the metro, what our power outage situation is going to look like. Again, we've got Dana Searles continuing to track power outages. If she's got an update, we can get an update. If not, power outage situation still looking good overall, I think. Yeah, I'd say thumbs up, still a power outage looking good. Okay, all right, so we're going to keep an eye on that. Dana, if those increase, jump in, because we want to know. And again, rotation continuing to increase. And this is, get our bearings straight, is this still Caddo County moving into Grady? And this is Canadian. Okay. All right, perfect.
That includes Mustang, Yukon.
Yeah,
So-
include several communities in the Oklahoma City metro. Now here, let's back out, because again, remember, we're the only media outlet focused on the Norman and the campus area. This area of rotation is actually not currently a threat to campus, okay? So we can see that here. You see the polygon, if it gets extended, it's going to get extended into Edmond and the Village and Oklahoma City. It's not going to come near Norman or OU campus, okay? Now, we're continuing to watch areas of rotation from Chickasha back to Anadarko down in this region. That could be a threat to campus. But overall, we're not looking threatening to campus at the moment, okay? So that's good news here on OU. I would want to see control room soon if we can get a look at our campus cam. Curious what things look like out there right now. But overall, if we can get that in just a few minutes, we're good. Yeah, just holler at me when we have that. And we'll be good to go. Okay, yeah, let's take it. Let's take our campus cam here, and you can see things are quiet right now. Looking, well, mostly quiet. Trying to look for a flag. Can't see any flags there. Wind gusts here on campus, probably in the 30, 40 mile per hour range if I had to guess, as storms are approaching. The calm before the storm, as they would call it here. Hey, look, beautiful OU campus. You know, OU Nightly here, we don't get to see campus at nighttime very often on OU Nightly. This is a treat. This is going to be a very different picture here in the next 40 minutes or so. And we'll be sure to check back in on that. There's a very strong likelihood that here in the next little bit, we check in, you won't be able to see the Bazell Memorial Library by that time. Okay, all right, Catherine, we got an update. Let's go.
The severe thunderstorm warning
Has been canceled for 8 counties and continues for 4 counties till 9 p.m.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, that was that massive severe thunderstorm warning there that ultimately has now been canceled for a few counties and is going to eventually.
Custer, Dewey, Jackson, Kingfisher, Kiowa, Tillman, and Washita.
Washita, yeah,
Washita, thank you.
Yeah, good stuff.
The ones that are canceled.
Okay, good. So that's southwestern Oklahoma. Again, let's zoom out a little bit and check this out. Like Josh was telling you, I mean, we were here, a couple hours ago, and this thing was off out here, and then it was knocking on the door of Roger Mills and Ellis counties. Folks, cloud cover is probably gone on the Oklahoma-Texas border right now. This thing is racing across Oklahoma, and it's getting out of here. Okay, Josh, what do you got?
Yeah, and Colton, as we're seeing these storms move to kind of the eastern edge of that current destructive severe thunderstorm warning polygon, the National Weather Service alerting us that they are about to issue a new severe thunderstorm warning for the metro. That would likely include Norman and OU campus.
Okay, all right, wonderful. Yeah, that is, so this big chunk, this large severe thunderstorm warning, you see now that still includes parts of Weatherford, here, Custer, Washita counties, all that's getting canceled, okay? You're in the clear behind the line here. You've now got a westerly wind that's stout, but you're not looking at 100-mile-per-hour winds anymore, okay? But as this continues eastward, we're getting ready to get a new severe thunderstorm warning that's likely going to include Logan, Lincoln, Oklahoma, Cleveland counties, okay? The whole 9 yards here across central Oklahoma, okay? That is likely going to come up here in just a couple of minutes here. Okay, let's check back in on our circulation here. You see, it was back here. It was just north of Gracemont a couple of minutes ago. We turned our attention away from it, and by the time we did, it has now raced into northeastern Caddo County. Go ahead, Catherine.
Issued for...
there it is.
There it is, Canadian, Cleveland, including Oklahoma, McCain. That's that severe thunderstorm warning. We are under a severe thunderstorm warning.
So it doesn't quite make it all the way to Lincoln and Pottawatomie counties. It stops here in eastern Oklahoma County. Does include McLean County, Cleveland County and McLean, but and it looks like it cuts off Lake Thunderbird. So Norman, the pink area here, it's going to run down through east of Slaughterville. Pauls Valley, Davis, you're out of it. It extends southwestward, includes so many folks from down into Duncan. So this is now into Stevens County, back into Comanche County, and several more, all the way down to the Red River. I mean, look at that. This is big here. Okay, we're looking at a severe thunderstorm warning that goes from the Jones and Luther area all the way to the Red River. Okay, that's into the Red River. And hey, we've got Coy Taylor joining us now here in studio. Coy, you got a piece of information. What do you got for me?
Yes, I've been monitoring the terminal Doppler radar at Will Rogers World Airport, and we just have an intense pocket of wind, and it's now turned into a circulation on the southern end of that tornado warning that we're talking about there, to include parts of what would be Grady County. So we're talking northeastern Grady County off towards the south and west of Minco near the Pocasset area. We have an intense circulation, at least on the terminal Doppler radar site. I do not know if TLX is showing that right now.
Yeah, so basically the terminal Doppler radar is designed for aviation folks, and what that does is it can look into the lower and the higher levels of the atmosphere than typical weather radars. And as a result, it sees circulation that sometimes the main radar doesn't. And so what Coy is seeing is what I think now our radar is finally beginning to pick up is an area of circulation, he said, moving near the Amber-Pocasset area, really not necessarily Amber, but Pocasset, up here on the northwestern side. That's tracking towards what would be, well, Will Rogers World Airport. Oklahoma City, Will Rogers World Airport is right here, okay? That circulation, Josh, let's measure that. Follow my finger here from Pocasset, or from this circulation here up to the airport, is now just about 30 miles or so, which, as we know, these things are moving about 1.5 miles a minute. Quick math will tell you that is 20 some odd minutes away from the Oklahoma City airport. In fact, let's check in at some point, Dana, if we can, into flight cancellations, and maybe get some word on that soon in just a few minutes. Catherine, go ahead.
The National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning, including Waukeeta, Jet, and Nash, Oklahoma. So those Twister fans aren't out.
Okay, all right. So I said let's jump up to Waukeeta real quick. Again, we're going to let the folks in Kansas deal with that. New tornado warning here now that includes Waukeeta. Again, we'll briefly talk about this. We can jump to VNX, Josh. My goodness. So that's right over the radar site now. Let's see if shear rate can pick this up. Let's see what we got. Yeah, so we're operating very close to the radar. I'll tell you what, though, that's intense rotation. Oh, there we go. That was it there. So that's probably our rotation in Jet, Oklahoma, tiny community of Jet, Oklahoma. And we're so low in the atmosphere in terms of our radar scan, it's hard to get an idea of what exactly is going on. Looks like that is an intense circulation. It's probably going to pass just north of MASH into Hawley. Let's back out here and see Wakita if we can. Again, Twister folks, you know Wakita from the movie. If it stays on its current track, it's going to miss to the south of Wakita, but eventually going into Medford there. Okay. All right. Let's head back to the metro. Again, we'll let the talented folks in Kansas deal with that. And
We're going off in southwest Oklahoma and including Yukon as well.
okay. All right. So tornado warning or tornado sirens on the West Metro now into southwest Oklahoma City, including Yukon, which is good because they're inside the tornado warning. As soon as you guys have word that warning is getting extended, let us know because I imagine it's probably going to at some point here, which would include probably downtown Oklahoma City, Bethany, the Village, Lake Hefner, the whole 9 yards, all the community. I mean, Oklahoma County as a whole. My goodness, look at that. That's shear rate that even spans down to Chickasha, you know, rotation all along this line here. Okay. So again, my concerns right now are Oklahoma City, the airport. Campus at the moment is still quiet, okay? We're not worried about campus at the moment. But like I was just pointing out, there's circulation from Amber down to Chickasha that's eventually going to make its way to campus here. And that's what we're going to have to continue to watch. Okay, yeah, that's our latest area of circulation. Josh, keep that circle on. Throw up shear rate. Let's see if we match here. And we do, exactly. So that's exactly where our circulation is. Catherine, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm on the Oklahoma City Will Rogers World Airport website, and they, according to their website, we have it looks like 5 delayed flights and 1 canceled.
Okay, yeah. It is hard for a plane to take off in 110 mile per hour winds. I imagine that's going to be the story. The good news is, like we've been saying, this thing comes and it goes quickly. So your plane gets held up for a minute, and then you're good to go. Okay, Coy, go ahead.
I just have to report, still monitoring the terminal Doppler radar site as well as TLX, and we are seeing that circulation still continue, and it looks like it's trying to lift or occlude up towards the Minko area right now.
So that's likely the same circulation we're watching here?
Yes, so TLX is showing it on storm relative velocity.
Let's take that, Josh.
As well as we are seeing it confirmed with the terminal Doppler radar site there.
So as I said, that terminal radar views lower in the atmosphere than our radar does, which is confirming that this rotation not only exists, but it exists at a lower level of the atmosphere than we can see. And so that is a intense circulation headed from Minko into Mustang. Josh, let's zoom in here. Let's get some roads on this quickly, and we're going to jump to Dana quickly here in just a second. Let's keep zooming in here. I want to know what highway this is.
Technicians and one utility locator that manages these operations.
Is now moving into the community of Minko. It's going to eventually cross with what looks like State Highway 37 right here in Minko. And I've been told we have video from inside Chickasha, Oklahoma. Control room, if we're ready for that, take that. Until then, boy, this rotation only continues to increase. Josh, let's go to CC. Control room, take that video whenever you're ready. Okay, not seeing much. Okay. This is Chickasha, Oklahoma. Man, storm structure there in those flashes is intense, as we would expect. Okay, all right, good stuff there. Thanks, guys. Coy, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that there's no way you're going to see this. This is rain wrap. So if we go back to reflectivity and point your finger right there where that was, this is in the rain, heavy rain that's falling there in Grady County right now. So you're not going to see this. You need to take shelter immediately.
Just keep your eye on Minko and zoom out, Josh. So Minko is where the rotation is. You are squished in between rain. Rain from Mustang into Minko, rain from Spring Creek into Minko now, and that's where your tornado is. Rain wraps to all degree. Okay? All right, Dana Searles, we got an update. What do you got?
Yeah, Colton, it looks like those power outages are starting to increase a little bit as they come into the city. Over in western Oklahoma, over 6,000 people without power. And that is the storm that is headed our way. And with the power outages increasing, let's be prepared. Let's charge those devices. OU Campus Emergency is starting to tweet very actively on Twitter. They are saying to stay away from windows and emphasizing that stay away from windows. Take shelter, move indoors, because that storm is going to be coming here real soon. We'll keep tracking that, and like I said, keep following those safety precautions by staying away from the windows. The parking garages are pretty much full. They're starting to fill up. I have heard that a few of them are a little bit. There are a few open windows, open spots in there, but for the most part, those parking garages are filled up completely. We will be here all night covering this, and there are even, it looks like some cars aren't even parking in actual spots. People are starting to make their own spots. So stay with us. We'll have those updates throughout the night. Colton, back to you guys.
Yeah, good work, Dana. Let's talk about parking garages for just a moment. First of all, not dealing with a large damaging hail event, so parking garages are not as imperative as in most events. But as we know here on the OU campus, here's the deal, folks. Parking garages are only built to sustain a certain amount of weight. Once they exceed that weight, we have the potential to see something catastrophic. So parking garage, you don't have to beeline it for the garage, okay? Now, that doesn't mean your car can't sustain some damage from wind debris, okay? But it's not worth causing a catastrophic moment here on OU campus. Okay, Josh, what do you got?
Yeah, so the current tornado warning, again, as you mentioned, Colton, really is not threatening campus at the moment. It looks like it's going to go north of Norman, but very strong signatures on radar of some very intense wind gusts that will be moving into the Norman area here.
Let's
just
query
in the next. Yes, and if we
query those going into Amber, Chickasha. So as Josh was saying, so if the radar is indicating 75 miles per hour, 81 miles per hour, this means that you can expect gusts not only to this point, but exceeding these. So that is correct, Josh. In the same way that the city of Lawton rang their tornado sirens for wind gusts, these are potentially dangerous wind gusts coming into campus. So yeah, currently no circulation is threatening OU's campus, but we are certainly going to see very strong wind gusts, okay? All right, let's do, so we said tornado warning was extended. Let's see what happened. Okay, all right, let's check that out. So how long is this tornado warning go to now, guys? It's 9:15, okay. Okay, so it's still to 9:15. Again, this circulation has not calmed at all. Remember, we started watching this in Gracemont, and it has now traversed all the way to Minco. It has not calmed down. I expect this tornado warning to get extended in the next few minutes. Okay, control room says we've got video of some wind damage from down I-40 in Weatherford, Oklahoma. You guys take that whenever you're ready because this is one of the threats we see. Coy, go ahead while we load that video. Hold on one second. Let's do this real fast. This is in Weatherford, Oklahoma, a overturned semi-truck. And these things are basically parachutes, guys. Whenever you get a big gust of wind that rams up against the side of a big-bodied semi-truck, they collect all that air and they turn like a toy. And that was in Weatherford, Oklahoma. Look here. It is calm. Josh, take reflectivity for a second. It is calm and dry in Weatherford, Oklahoma, and now they're dealing with storm damage. Coy, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just getting some unconfirmed reports in here right now of possibly power flashes in Minco right now. That's where that circulation is. So power flashes could be associated with strong winds moving there. We have kind of confirmed that this line of wind is moving through, or it could be a signature that maybe there is some circulation in the atmosphere. But again, unconfirmed reports of power flashes in Minco right now. So just wanted to pass that along to you, Colton.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff. Especially because this is a little bit of signature that's kind of concerning. Whenever you start to see these lines of thunderstorms take on the form of a supercell, you know you're dealing with some powerful stuff. And I said it earlier, and I'll say it again, that this is unusual even for the Sooner State. Okay, so unconfirmed power flashes in Minco, again, which are possible. Let's go ahead, Catherine, big news here.
We got a tornado warning that includes Canadian and Grady County until 9:15.
So that is going to ultimately, that's going to be, so again, here's, so here's Canadian and here's Grady County, so probably dealing with the same amount of circulation. Again, still nothing that's threatening the OU campus, but this is now if they've only warned Canadian and Grady, they are hesitant to warn Oklahoma County. likely an intentional move. They don't want to incite some panic in Oklahoma County until it's certainly necessary. Okay, here let's take about 2 minutes more to look through this. Then let's get to Dana for a update on any power outage situations across the Oklahoma City Metro and across campus. We'll come to her in about 2 minutes. For now, hey, you're watching OU Nightly. It's almost 9 p.m. now on a Sunday night in February. Yeah, it's not April, it's not May, it is February in the Sooner State. And hey, this is what we're all about here in Oklahoma as storms are now knocking on the door, looking like rain is soon to begin here in the OU campus. Let's take campus cam here in just a moment real quick. That's some intense reflectivity returns now from Tuttle down to Amber Pocasset, moving over to Blanchard, coming into Newcastle. So this will eventually be the Newcastle Casino, approaching I-35 into the Oklahoma City metro area. Folks, get ready for wind gusts up to 80, 90 miles per hour across the metro. Stay away from windows. In fact, get inside. If you're outside for any reason, get back inside. Wind gust 80 to 90 approaching the metro eventually. All right, Dana, give us an update on that power outage situation across the metro. Any more news you may have?
Yeah, Colton, we're still waiting on a few more updates of power outages in the city. But again, like I said before, they are still slowly increasing over in western Oklahoma. Over 8,000 people now without power, and that storm is coming our way. We're going to have our meteorologists following this all night long. And especially as it's about to hit campus, OU Campus Emergency Safety is actively tweeting. You can follow their Twitter at OU Emergency Prep, and they will tell you the updates as the storm rolls in. They already told us get away from windows, stay indoors, and especially do not travel. So let's check back in with our weather expert now, Catherine Liberta. Catherine, what's it looking like? Where's it coming? What can we expect?
Thanks, Dana. Yeah, we are tracking this as it makes its way into the Oklahoma City metro area. And look, these storms are almost here. We can start to see it's raining outside. Actually, let's go to our campus cam to see if it's actually has started raining here on on the OU campus here in Norman. But the strong line of storms is almost here as we head throughout the evening. Now let's take that campus cam right now. It doesn't look like there's much going on just yet. Maybe a couple flashes or two. There we go. We're getting some lightning on our campus cam. So this storm is on its way. It is almost here on the Norman campus. So we can go back to our live radar to see where. Let's go up to the tornado warning up in just north of Minco. Josh, let's zoom in on that. And I mean, look at how this has taken this rotation. Look at all this shear. That shear rate is just massive for this storm. I mean, look at that. That is crazy. As this shear rate, so this is going to be moving north. It's nothing showing up on the debris detector because, I mean, like Coy said earlier, this is a rain-wrapped storm. Let's go back to that radar so we can see how rain-wrapped it is. So you're not going to see anything. Look at all of this rain. So you're not going to be able to see it, but you should get inside right now and into your storm shelter because this storm is pushing its way through towards Mustang and Yukon even. They are included in that tornado warning as well. So let's zoom out just a little bit and come down to Norman to see what's it looking like. Let's zoom in on Norman because we are included in this tornado watch. We can see that the stronger rain is just about to hit Sooner Mall and just about to hit I-35. So then it's going to be moving east towards the Norman area. We can see there's OU and there's Highway 9. So this storm is rapidly approaching. It's moving very, very quickly. And so we are going to see that severe thunderstorm warning is continuing for what? Can you pull that back up, Josh? Continuing until 9:30. So it is 9 o'clock right now. For the next 30 minutes, we are going to be in this severe thunderstorm warning unless it gets gets extended for the next couple of minutes. So looking at this, like we said earlier, this was going to come in right around 9 o'clock. And it's 9 o'clock right now, and we are starting to see this rain come into the Norman OU area. So let's zoom out and check back up at the tornado warning up in northwestern Oklahoma City. We can see that I mean, this strong line of storms has started to take the form of a supercell. I mean, this is really this is dangerous. Yes, Colton, what do you got?
We're going to talk about some radar indication here. Let's go to correlation coefficient, Josh.
Let's
look
see.
at our debris detector here just west of Mustang. We've got a strong couplet here looking about 70 or 80 miles per hour of shear, along with a lowering of CC values, which for folks at home, that is debris being detected in the atmosphere. Again, that is just west of Mustang, about 4 miles west of Mustang.
And
headed
look at that
northeast
shear rate.
into town. Shear rate is only increasing. I have to bargain. This is along Highway 152, eventually to cross Highway 92, and I have to bargain. This tornado warning is going to get extended into Oklahoma City. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Thanks, Colton. We are going to keep an eye on that as it makes its way towards the Oklahoma County and towards Yukon. We can see that this storm is definitely going to just continue to wreak havoc. Now, let's go over to our live radar and just show. See this right here. Look at that hook right there. That is what we are looking at, and that is what is going to continue to push. And like you said, Colton, it would not surprise me if this continues and pushes into Oklahoma County. Now, we can see lots of, let's check can we check our hail to see if we have any reports of hail? Hail detector? Nothing. All right. Yes, Coy, what do you got?
Well, just a little bit ago, talking about hail, there was some reports that I received personally that there was some penny-sized hail near the Chickasha area, so that's the highest hail reports that we've seen.
Well, we've got a little bit down here, yeah, that's right around that Chickasha area, what is that, southwest of Newcastle. So this hail, yeah, what do you got, Josh?
So the National Weather Service has now continued that severe thunderstorm warning for the metro, including Norman. I just want to note they have added a tornado possible tag to that, which just means that there is an elevated chance of very quickly tornadoes spinning up. And the issue here is that if a tornado were to form, it's very possible there would be very limited lead time when a tornado warning is issued. So this is just the heads up that anywhere along this line, there is the possibility for a tornado to quickly develop. So if you want to play it safe here, go ahead and get to your tornado safe spot in Norman and other areas of the metro, just in case a tornado were to spin up to the south of the current tornado warning.
Yeah. Thank you, Josh. That's really important because these storms are moving so quickly. We are going to see just such a big effect and such a quick turnaround here in Norman. So now I'm going to toss it over to Dana. Dana, it seems like you've got an update for us. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Catherine, OU Campus Emergency has now tweeted that dangerous lightning storms are moving into Oklahoma City Metro and do not travel and to stay indoors. We actually have an OU Nightly reporter live in the parking garages right here on campus. Dakota McDowell Wapakichi has an update on what it's looking like out there in the garages and what the storm's like. Dakota, what's it looking like?
Yeah, down here in the Jenkins parking garage, it's pretty full. There's some cars piling up down there, people making their ways around. Now in the Ass parking lot just by the football stadium, it's a little bit of a different story. It's still kind of full in there, but there are some spots left. Now just southwest, the lightning is still pulling in. The couch towers, the towers in general are lighting up. You can see them great with all the lightning. But I'll have more in a little bit when some more cars start piling in. Back to the studio.
Thanks, Dakota. Yeah, we're going to be keeping an update on those parking garages and what campus is looking like within the next few minutes as it's slowly approaching. Now in western Oklahoma, like we've been tracking all night, up to a little over 12,000 people without power there. And in Norman, we're going to be getting some updates on power outages here in just a few minutes, but it's still steady the same. We're getting about 10 to 20 people without power every 10 minutes that we're seeing updates. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's get back to Catherine. Catherine?
Thanks, Dana. We have an update for you. We can see that looking on live radar, this storm system that is moving towards the Norman area is starting to set up. It's starting to separate itself from the line. And so that is some scary, scary stuff that is going to be coming towards the Norman area in just a few moments. Coy, what do you got?
So that tornado warning, they're getting ready in parts of Canadian County, I should say, near the Yukon and Mustang areas. That circulation is still evident on CC, and if it does hold together, which I mean, it's held together for the last couple of radar scans, it will be moving over I-40 here, I'd say within the next 10 or so minutes. So travel not advised on I-40 in the Yukon area as of now.
Thank you, Coy. Yes, we can see right here that is that debris that is being showing up on the CC. We can definitely tell you to get inside right now. Do not go out on those roads because conditions are going to continue to decrease. So that is State Highway, not State Highway. Never mind. State Highway 92? Okay, I thought I saw a state highway. All right, so this is going to continue to move northeast as we head into the evening now, and this is very dangerous. We want you to get inside right now because these storms are definitely headed towards this area, Bethany, Yukon, right around there. They are starting to make their way up towards those areas. Now, this storm system is going to, let's go back to our live radar, actually, Josh, just to see. Okay, so right here, this is what we're looking at. This storm, and even we can see heavier rain right here, just northeast, excuse me, of the Mustang area. Can we zoom out and go back down towards Norman to see if that has updated any bit? All right, so the stronger storms are going to be making their way. It's going to be making its way towards the OU campus. Let's zoom in just even further to see how much it's going to be affecting. And now I'm hearing that we have some footage, live footage, coming from the OU campus. This is the dorms on OU. You can see all of those lightning flashes, excuse me, as this storm approaches the OU campus. And even if we take a look at our campus cam, the sky is electric right now with all of this lightning. We can see this is what we're seeing on the South Oval right now. Lots and lots of lightning as this storm is almost here. It is on our doorstep, basically, here in Norman. Let's go back to our live radar and look at exactly how close it is. I mean, it's here. We can see this is OU. We are seeing that heavier rain and those flashes. And as this here, right here, this is going to be moving towards us here at OU in just a few moments. Now, these storms, I mean, they have been moving all day. They have been just, I mean, moving all along so quickly. And so what we are really concerned about is if anything was to pop up, that if a tornado was to pop up, because we are still in that tornado watch here in Norman. If something was to pop up, it would happen rapidly and with not very much warning. So this is going to be something that we are going to continue to watch as it makes its way over the Norman and OU campus. Now, back to our live radar. We've got,
Catherine,
yep.
Got an update that tornado warning is going to get extended into Canadian and to western Oklahoma County. So it is likely.
Yeah, let's go up.
It's probably going to include Will Rogers World Airport. They say they're only warning up to the western half, it looks, of Oklahoma County. So probably not going to, maybe not include downtown. They're only going to warn it in chunks here. But as it approaches now, and it looks like the circulation is actually out of the warning area.
Right.
And so now new
It
tornado
looks like
warning
the
coming.
circulation is right here.
Yeah, so new tornado warning coming now for Oklahoma County as that region of shear rate continues to intensify. And I do want to note, check out that shear rate there just west of Norman, crossing the Newcastle Casino now, moving close to campus quickly, okay? Rotation is on its way.
Thank you, Colton. We are going to continue to watch this as it makes its way. It is five miles from campus. So this is on its way. It is on your doorstep. So get inside right now. If you are on the OU Norman campus, you need to get inside because this area of rotation is 5 miles away. And this is something that could rapidly intensify within minutes. We can see that it's splitting off. And this is something that is very dangerous that we are going to be continuing to watch. So we are going to toss it over to Dana, who is going to have an update for us as well about those power outages and what people are seeing across Oklahoma. Dana.
Thanks, Catherine. Yeah, we are seeing up to about 300 OG&E customers without power, mainly in the northwest Oklahoma City area. Before, that was just at around 100 customers, and now it has jumped up to 300 people without power within the last 10 minutes. So that's a significant jump, and we're going to keep tracking that as we go through the night. Again, OU Campus Emergency Safety is very active on Twitter, and you can follow their Twitter to keep updates on the night, and keep following with us because we are the only media outlet following specifically campus updates. Catherine?
Yeah, thanks, Dana. Let's go over to our campus cam because I mean, I've been sitting here staring at the campus cam and just watching it because there is so much lightning as this storm reaches campus right now. I mean, look at this. The sky is going crazy. I mean, there is so much lightning in the area. We have a tornado warning for Cleveland County. This is breaking news. There is a tornado warning for Cleveland County. This storm is producing, or we don't have a confirmed tornado just yet, but we are under a tornado warning here in Cleveland County. This is breaking news. We do have, let's go up to, we can see that they have now extended a confirmed tornado warning through the Oklahoma City area, but here in Norman, we do have a tornado warning for Cleveland County. Yes, Coy.
Yeah, I just want to jump in. That is for Cleveland County, but that's for the far northwestern part of Cleveland County, up by the Mustang area. So not campus as of yet, but we still have that severe thunderstorm warning with that tornado possible tag. So people should be taking shelter, not in their tornado safe place, but at the lowest level of their house, and get away from windows as this storm moves into Norman.
Let's note as well, there's actually 2 confirmed tornado warnings now that were issued simultaneously. One in the rotation we've been following since it was just north of Grandfield, but another now there you see just on the northern side of Yukon. Josh, zoom out just a bit and let's look up there. That's going to extend all the way up into Kingfisher County. And so both tornado warnings go to the Kingfisher and the Logan County line. Coy?
Also, the CC there on that storm, if we can take that behind Catherine and Catherine can step on and point to that, look at that near Yukon. So that's showing some debris. So we could be possibly seeing that Yukon took a direct hit from the radar presentation. So if we can get our news team on that to see if we have any damage reports coming out of Yukon right now, because radar is presenting.
And our phones are going off. There it is.
In the newsroom.
There is the Cleveland County tornado warning. But
until 10 p.m.
Until 10 p.m. There it is. Now we have that tornado warning for the which includes the OU campus, and this is we've got some sheer that velocity we can see. Can we get some pixel queries on that? Oh, there we go. Look at the sheer.
Catherine,
yep. Yeah, absolutely.
I think power just flickered here in the studio, so
yeah,
there it goes
again.
again.
There it goes again.
I think we have something rolling in for sure.
We definitely do. We can see the sheer rate. This is a rapidly intensifying storm, and there it goes again.
Hey, let's get zoomed in here.
Yes.
Let's zoom in even further to see where. I mean, let's go street by street. I mean, it's almost at Lindsay Street, and we are just about to see this impact. So it is just about to cross I-35. And it's not at Sooner Mall just yet, but let's go back to the campus cam to see what it's looking like right now on campus. I mean, this storm is practically here. So it is here. We are under that tornado warning here on the OU campus. Let's go back to our yes, Coy, what do you got? Of course you can.
So our viewers right now here in Norman should be taking shelter. I just want to point out that where our studio is in our control room is in the safe place where we're broadcasting from here in Gaylord Hall. So we are staying safe by staying on the air right now. But if you are in the dorms, you need to be taking those tornado precautions in those areas, or in your house, you need to be going to that tornado safe place, the lowest level, or a tornado shelter.
Yes, thank you, Coy. And that is something that is very important. The dorms have said that they had their tornado shelters open for students, and so if you are in the dorms, you need to be in those tornado shelters right now. Yes, Coy, what do you got?
I just want to point out that the circulation there near Goldsby, that's going to be just like a mile or two south of Riverwind Casino, just for some landmarks, and we're moving it off towards the north and east. So that's going to be moving right into South Norman here in moments. So we're talking 9 Highway as well as US 77. So that's over by the Ave, apartments, as well as a light over there.
Can we get
as
that
well
graphic
as the
off
National
just so we can see
Weather
the
Center, as
Thank you.
well as Lloyd Noble Center down there. So those areas in South Norman need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. Again, lowest level of your house. Basement is best, but I know many homes here in Oklahoma don't have basements, so a storm shelter or the most interior room. Put as many walls between you and the outside.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coy. Yes, this right here, this is the area of that spinning that is going to be moving up into the South Norman area in just a few moments. So, yes, yep.
Radar still intensifying. Sirens are going off in Norman as we expected. And so folks
Look
in
at
Norman
this
continue
shear.
to take shelter. Lots of shear rate going on here across the OU campus. No, also Dana has an update here. Look at that intense shear rate.
Wow.
Now, and Catherine, point out where this is in comparison to OU campus. So for some landmarks there, you see Catherine point at the National Weather Center right there, just down right there. So that's the National Weather Center at the corner of Jenkins and I-35, or excuse me, Jenkins and Highway
There,
9.
right there.
Point to the Lloyd Noble Center.
Lloyd Noble
Right
is
there,
here.
yep. So we are looking at circulation just south of Lloyd Noble. The most intense circulation, if there was a tornado right now, which we have not confirmed a tornado, would be just south of OU's campus with more intense rotation just east of Sooner Mall headed towards campus as we speak. Go ahead, Catherine.
Thanks, Colton. Yes, that intensifying shear rate is what is going to be moving up into the OU Norman campus in just a few moments. We can see that it's already started to make its way. It's hitting the weather center already, that intense shear rate. So let's go back to our live radar. Yep, Josh, what do you got?
I just want to note that radar is currently indicating right around the Goldsby area wind gusts approaching 100 miles per hour. So that is within the tornado circulation. Even if there were not to be a tornado here, extremely strong wind gusts moving very close in the direction of Norman.
Thank you, Josh. And yes, we've been saying, a lot of these towns have been sending off their sirens even if there isn't a tornado because these wind gusts are so strong. This is really, really concerning. We can see an update on our radar as this moves into the OU Norman campus. So even if we do not have a tornado confirmed on the ground, there are still wind gusts up to 100 miles an hour. So this here we can see right here, that's that coupling and that's that spinning that has now moved. It looks like just east of the OU campus, but still, I mean, that is south. So plenty of people who, are living off campus. This storm is headed to you. Yes, Coy, what do you got?
I just want to say, pointing out, trying to track this rotation, it has moved just slightly occluded up towards the north. So it looks like we're going to be seeing it cross somewhere near Chautauqua in 9 Highway. So that would point it right over Lloyd Noble and South Research, so the National Weather Center. That eventually, if it continues on its trek, Reeves Park, and then we're off towards the Edge, Millennium, up there along Classen and Lindsay Street, and then eventually back to US 77 or 12th Avenue Southeast in Lindsay, up by the CVS there.
Through the campus. Now we are trying to get everything back up. Okay, cool. What?
It jumped from almost.
Oh, and we're back on.
Okay.
Are we back on? Are we back live?
Continue talking and
Let's put up
campus cam.
Let's put up campus cam.
See if we can see it.
Let's.
Power outages have jumped from about.
We are live. We are back live. We have lost power here at Gaylord College. We are trying to get everything back up. We are live. We are. Oh, okay. Yeah, Sydney just said we are live. Okay, we are live. We are live. So there has been some confusion. This is just, we are live here. Severe weather coverage from, we are flickering. I mean, we can see the lights are kind of going off and on. We are live here on Gaylord's campus. I'm going to toss it over to Dana.
Real quick.
Dana, what do you got?
I'm going to jump in here. We just got
Dana.
radar signature of a couplet. That radar is indicating upwards of 125 miles per hour. I don't want to jump the gun on the National Weather Service. I have never seen signature like that. That's not been a confirmed tornado. Okay,
Wow.
so that's been on Highway 9, just east of Jenkins. And yeah, now the National Weather Service is noting that they do also believe that there's potentially a tornado. So we're going to keep an eye on this. That was just near the National Weather Center, which is about 1.5 miles from us. Let's go to Dana now as we work to get things uploaded for you here back in the OU Nightly studio.
Yeah, Colton, it does sound like the power has gone out at the Couch Shelter, at the Couch Towers, which is one of the dorms here on campus. According to OG&E, customers, just about 10 minutes ago, only 300 people were without power. Now we're up to almost 2,000, mainly affected in the Yukon area, but still a significant jump there in power. And the county right next to Cleveland County, Canadian County, does have a little over 6,000 people without power. And according to poweroutage.us, there are almost 30,000 customers without power in the state of Oklahoma right now. So it does look like that is increasing significantly as we go through as the storms come to campus. Catherine?
Thanks, Dana. Yeah, we are looking at our shear rate. I mean, look at, that is, I have never seen shear rate like that. That is just, let's see, that is right by, just north of State Highway 9 and 36th Avenue Southeast. That is moving, and that is on Lindsay Street. This is east of the OU campus, but this is going to continue to move northeast as we head throughout the next couple of minutes. Now, yep. Coy, what do you got?
I just want to point out some landmarks there because we might know landmarks rather than roads here being college kids. But we are right there, there's a manufacturing plant, I think an elementary school along 24th Avenue. So that's a little further east, 36th Avenue. And then eventually as we get out in there, it's going to cross Alameda Street and then eventually up towards Robinson. There are live update. We're at about Alameda and what would be, if we can zoom in there just a tad bit more, Josh, Alameda Street and South 60th Street as we get a tight view there. So that's getting ready to push into what would be the western edges of Lake Thunderbird. So if you live in that area, it's still the city of Norman. City limits go around Lake Thunderbird as we put it into perspective there. So if you live around Lake Thunderbird, especially those western legs of the lake, you need to be taking your tornado precautions as this continues to move up towards the community there of Franklin and eventually over some less populated areas. And if our news team can get some what would be resources to look into possibly any damage reports around 9 Highway and what would be Classen, US 77, whatever you want to call it there. There's a McDonald's, Buffalo Wild Wings, On Q, all in that area, as you know, Catherine. So if we can get our news team kind of trying to get some damage reports from there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, we said that this was a very, very fast-moving storm, and it has just, I mean, you've seen in the last couple of minutes, it has just jumped and moved so quickly. Now, we can see there is some debris detected on our CC. We can see that this is gonna. Dana has an update. Dana, what do you got?
It is a campus update. I am getting word that someone is currently stuck in the Couch elevator because of that power outage. So like I said, get to that shelter now, but use the stairs because the power is going in and out throughout parts of Norman. So that's just an update that I have right now.
Thanks, Dana. And we are just going to continue to watch this and track this as it makes its way. We can see that there is some damage here, but even look, there is damage, debris, sorry, not damage, detected on, it seems like just that's Hall Park. This is east of and almost at Lake Thunderbird. And so let's try and get our campus cam back up. I know we are working on that, but we should, yes, Coy, what do you have?
I just want to say that I think we have, if we zoom out of the tornado warning and kind of clean up the display for our viewers, campus has been technically trimmed out from the tornado warning I have on my screen. I don't think it's fully updated on our radar yet, but campus has been trimmed out of the tornado warning, and it looks like from the radar presentation that I see that rotation again is closer to Lake Thunderbird. So if you are on OU's campus, as it intensifies with the latest scan, that rotation that I'm looking at on radar off our main system here, but that rotation is intensifying as it moves north and east, but campus in the clear right now. But again, South Campus, South Research around 9 Highway and Classen Boulevard does look like it took possibly a direct hit. I'm on Apple Maps right now, and it looks like we do have some red showing up there, and that's usually a good indication of possibly like something going on down there. So we are, again, our news team is working on that right now to see if we have any what would be reports of damage or confirmed reports. But again, stay in place, but the tornado threat has since passed campus, just heavy winds and rain going to be the threat moving forward.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coy. And like you said, that tornado threat has passed campus, but we do still have lots of rain being dumped on campus right now. Let's go to our campus cam. We got it back up, and we are seeing just lots of rain across South Campus right now. This is the South Oval on OU's Norman campus. You can see still many lightning flashes, lots of rain it looks like is partially flooding some of that sidewalk there. And so we are going to continue to watch this as this tornado warning moves through Cleveland County and up into, let's go back to our live radar just for a moment so we can look at what we're seeing right now and where this storm is headed. So if we could get that in just a few moments here. That is that rotation there that is moved away from OU's campus, but it is on its way past Lake Thunderbird. Yes, Coy, what do you have?
Yes, I'm getting reports from some people what would be near Stinson, on Stinson Boulevard. I don't know if we can pull that up on the map, but we have reports of power flashes when this thing was rolling through Stinson. I think we're going to get that situated.
Stinson is right here on campus, folks.
Okay, so this person says they were driving east on Stinson, and they saw blue and green power flashes at about 8 o'clock out of their window. So that would be off towards the north and east if they're driving eastbound on Stinson.
So let's get in here to OU campus and kind of get your bearings straight. Stinson Drive is this little street here. If you can see it along our map, it's a dead-end street. It's only about a quarter mile. So if reports on Stinson
here's the Gaylord Family Memorial Stadium.
Yeah.
That's the football stadium.
So reports on Stinson mean that it was on campus. Now here's what we're going to do. Let's take shear rate and let's back it up right over Stinson Avenue. We can do shear swath here, and you can see that swath crossed right over Stinson. So if there was a confirmed tornado of any degree, power flashes in Stinson, they line up. Okay, Dana, what you got?
Yeah, according to OG&E, we have about 7,000 customers who are now without power. And then according to Oklahoma Electric Cooperative, right here in Cleveland County, we have about 9,000 customers without power, which is about 31% of the county. So those power outages are still rolling, and we're getting updates about every 10 minutes. So I'll keep you guys updated with that. Colton?
Yeah. All right, folks, let's continue continuous coverage now. And now here's the good news is campus is now seemingly in the clear. Okay, Coy Taylor, real quick, what you got for me?
I'm getting unconfirmed reports that we have a possible touchdown or hit on a building, the 7-Eleven on Constitution Street.
7-Eleven on Constitution. I do know we have at least one, potentially two, OU Nightly News crews on the way to assess damage across Norman. We're going to bring you footage and video as soon as we can. In fact, folks in the control room, I'd say us as the meteorologists, weather team, get with me here. Give the all clear for folks to venture out. I think we're just dealing with wind at this point, wind and rain. So I think control room teams can get out and assess damage now.
I just want to get in there. So we're getting really close to the radar site, TLX.
Let's talk about that.
But before we get to that, the rain will be ending here in Norman, I'd say within the next 10 or so minutes. So it's going to calm down pretty significantly, and then I think we are going to start getting those reports of damage in those areas where we saw that shear swath move over.
And how about that? I mean, you know, it feels like 30 seconds ago we were talking about, you know, rotation is in Gracemont headed towards Norman, and boom, it's getting ready to dry up. We're done in the Norman campus with this situation for the, you know, for tonight. Okay, if we did have a brief touchdown, not entirely positive on any terms of damage, injuries, anything of that nature. Our news teams are going to work quickly to be the first on the scene because remember, we are the only media outlet focused solely on the OU campus. We're right here. Our home is on campus, right here in Gaylord College. And so we're going to work. News crews are going to get out now that it's quiet and calm for them. And we're going to bring some live pictures of any damage possible here in just a few minutes. Okay, but just because campus is clear does not mean some of our viewers are not. Josh, let's get out of this view and let's talk about where this thing is going. Okay, so very quickly, tornado warning on the north side of Kingfisher County. That is up moving on the east side of Major County. That, those pieces of rotation going to be moving eventually into the Perry and Ponca City area. Several, Mulhall, Orlando, several communities here are going to make it north of Stillwater. So again, let our fine folks that are focused on the remainder of the state take care of our folks up here from the Enid, Hennessy area. We're going to focus on storms near the Oklahoma City metro tonight, okay? So let's jump back down here. Let's see what we've got going on campus and in the Oklahoma City metro. So these were confirmed tornado warnings. All the while we were worried about tornadoes here in Norman, there were confirmed tornado warnings in the Oklahoma City metro. But correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, I think these are on their expiring end. Look, it's not even raining in Oklahoma City anymore.
Yeah, I believe so. And I will note that the National Weather Service is about to extend this southern warning into what would be Pottawatomie and Lincoln counties.
Yeah, Pottawatomie and Lincoln counties, tornado warning coming. Go ahead, Coy.
I just want to jump in. The tag currently on that tornado warning, that's for northern, Cleveland and parts of Oklahoma County. That is a radar confirmed tornado warning right now that we have going there. And again, look at that structure. It's moving right over our radar site, so we're getting a very close-up view. Yeah. And if you can kind of speak to that so viewers understand.
So let's talk about this, right? Because you may think, well, it's not raining right here, right near the Twin Lakes. Well, that's not true. That is actually the radar site itself. This is where the radar site is, and because it shoots a beam out, for the first mile or so surrounding the radar, we get what's called a hole, a radar void, that we can't see what's happening. As a result, as this beam travels away from the radar, it gets higher and higher in the sky. But right now, obviously, it's at the very low levels of the atmosphere. When you detect rotation this close to a radar, you can almost be certain that this is a tornado either on the ground or very close. Coy, go ahead.
I just want to pass along some reports. We still have power outage at Headington Hall, according to that. Dana, do you want to jump in on that too?
Yeah, we also have about 9,000 people in Cleveland County that are without power right now.
And I'm getting also reports that the Couch Storm Shelter is almost full or is full, and they're having to move people to the basement. But again, we want to reiterate that tornado threat here in Norman and for campus specifically has since passed. Catherine?
That's right. Okay, so you can exit your safe spot. Guys, let's real quick. Let's hit shear rate here. I want to talk about this briefly. This is intense shear rate now moving along Highway 9 from Cleveland into Pottawatomie County. This is for Pink, Oklahoma. If you live in Pink, Oklahoma, it is probably time to take your tornado precautions, folks. This is an intense area of rotation that exists from Lake Thunderbird all the way down through Etowah, here into Pottawatomie County, moving across Highway 9 into Pink, ultimately on its way to Shawnee and Tecumseh. Currently no tornado warning, but in your safe spot, maybe not in your tornado shelter, but in a safe spot in the lowest level center portion of your home. If you're going to tornado warning, take your precautions immediately. We've got an update from the desk. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Weather Service just noting that even though there are shear rate is highlighting possible rotation, that's really just what we're seeing. The air masses converge, where we have very strong winds behind the storm is very strong ahead, and just extremely intense winds heading into the community of Pink.
So again, into the community of Pink, small community, a couple churches, several thousand homes. And like Josh said, what's happening here is these air masses are colliding whenever they run into each other. They have nowhere to go but up, and that's creating a very strong gust front. This whole line may not be spinning, but you will never convince me that parts of this line are not spinning, okay? So anybody from Lake Thunderbird and now moving over, is this Stanley Draper? Is this Shawnee? Is this Shawnee Twin Lakes? I'm trying to get my bearing straight here. Yeah, that's Bethel Acres. Here's Shawnee Twin Lakes. So from Twin Lakes all the way down to Etowah, looking at not only some potential circulation, some intense rotation, or some intense wind gusts. Coy, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to pass along a few things. Campus alerts are now giving the all clear to students.
Great.
We gave the all clear a couple minutes ahead of them, but they are now, OU campus alerts are saying, or giving the all clear to people on campus. And I just want to note that our campus cam that we use so often is currently offline. So power must be out at Kate just across the way here from Gaylord Hall.
Okay, all right, good work there, Coy, thank you. That's what we call a not necessarily essential building on campus. Overall, may not have a generator. I'm not sure if we're on generator power here in Gaylord College. No idea. Lights are on. We're streaming. We're staying with you. Okay, let's go to our INET computer control room if we can. This is video coming out of Cross Storm Shelter probably 10, 20 minutes ago. First of all, what a wonderful asset for the University of Oklahoma to have storm shelters so large that they can hold students. You see power is obviously out. Folks are crowded in here. Great to see that they were heeding precaution and taking shelter from that tornado, potential tornado that we are still working to confirm a touchdown. And guys, please let me know if we get any word on that coming in the next few minutes. Again, sending news crews out to assess damage. And control room, feel free to let me know when our news crews are in place. For now, nice video there. All right, let's go back to radar. This is our Barron computer now. And let's talk about where this thing is headed because this thing's not done. Rotation potentially continues. Not sure if tornado warning will continue. This is ultimately now a line extending from western Lincoln County. So this is Harrah moving in the Choctaw-Harrah region. Again, this is Highway 177 now that runs. Yeah, let's go ahead.
In here, we have a very large tornado warning. Our system must not be updating because most of these warnings have been dropped.
Okay. Okay.
So we're having a little trouble, I think, with our system. We're still getting that radar data out of TLX, but we're not getting the updated warning data.
I'm going to imagine power outages probably had something to do with that.
We have Norman Fire reported multiple structural damages by a
potential tornado off of 24th Avenue, northeast of Highway 9. High tension power lines down on Highway 9 at 12th Avenue, and the highway is being closed. Those lines are also blocking access to the apartment complexes off of 12 southeast of 9, which, if I remember correctly, that's the what used to be called the cottages.
Tell me the roads again, Catherine.
It's Red Point now. Can you scroll up, Josh?
Those roads are power lines down on Highway 9 at 12th Avenue. The highway is closed, and those lines are blocking access to the apartment complexes off 12th and south of 9, north of Cedar. So south of 9, that wouldn't be the cottage. That wouldn't be Red Point. That would be
so south of Highway 9.
South of Highway 9, off of 12th.
Folks, that is a little complex. There's one there called the Links at Norman. Golf course on the Links at Norman. That's an apartment complex just south of Highway 9 at the 12th Street intersection. Very familiar with that area. So damage reported there. We need to get folks out there. Hey, you guys take over for just a brief moment.
Okay, I just want to jump in real quick about that. 12th Avenue, we have, you said south
of Highway 9.
South of Highway 9 at 12th. That's actually going to be the Ave.
That is the Ave?
That's going to be the Ave. Used to be Varsity House, but now what would be a light, Norman, I think, or one of the lights. Cedar Lane's also down there, so we have a gas station there at 12th and Cedar Lane. It's kind of a rural section. I know people at the Ave, if you live there, we have pictures right now that we're getting. Catherine's going to step on screen and point out. Can we zoom into where we're talking about?
We're also getting some reports that the Ave might have some damage at their houses over there. So let's stay tuned for some damage that we'll check on that and see the updates with that.
This is the area that we are talking about. So this is off of 12th. So that would be, where is 12th? There.
12th?
So it's right, So here we go. So this is the area that we are talking about. So you see Cedar Lane. This is that area. There's 12th, State Highway 9. So this area right here. And that is where, when we were talking about earlier, that's where the Buffalo Wild Wings is, the McDonald's, those areas. This is where we are getting the reports of that damage, and we can see now as this storm kind of moves off, we can see a little bit better view of the area that we are talking about. So now this is let's yes.
Jump in because we have a tornado warning continuing for northern Potawatomi
Here, I'm gonna
and
let Colton
southern
step back
Lincoln
on.
counties. Colton Williams knows this area himself. I just want to give some of the towns that where this is. So Shawnee, McLeod, Meeker, as well as up towards the Prague area. Colton, I know you know this area like the back of your hand, so take it away.
Okay, yeah, folks, here we go. Tornado warning continues. You can't see it on our map. So I'm going to run you through this now. Again, very familiar territory here. Talking about, okay, so extending from Pink up to the western sides of New Walla, upwards nearly to Stroud. Okay, so it does not include Chandler, but it does point up here on I-44 all the way over to include Prague. It stops at the Lincoln-Ofuskie County line and extends backwards to Pink. So I just drew the box for you there with some towns and some communities. This whole region is under tornado warning right now, okay? And so again, that
to draw to help
let's
illustrate
go
to the viewer, since we kind of have our warnings down at the moment. But I just also want to point out heavy rain is moving into McLeod right now, as well as Shawnee. The tornado threat, you are under a tornado warning there in Shawnee, which includes Oklahoma Baptist University.
That's correct.
But heavy winds is going to be the threat for Shawnee. It looks like the circulation right over I-40 at the moment.
I'm glad you mentioned university. The only other university in this polygon, that's actually the only university in this polygon. The only other one close would be Seminole State College. They are not in this polygon. You see Seminole is quite a ways down. So this is a rough sketch. Great job there, Josh. Good stuff. This is a rough sketch of your tornado warning. If you are inside this polygon, it's time to take your immediate tornado precautions, okay? So what does that mean? That means you go to the lowest level, center part of your home, put as many walls between you and the tornado as possible. Stay away from windows. Put on the long pants, the boots, the gloves, the helmet, the goggles, every bit of it, and ride this thing out. You will be okay. And tornado sirens are going off in the community of Prague, probably elsewhere within this polygon. Okay? All right, Coy, go ahead. We got an update.
Yeah, I just want to say that we are focused on this storm because it's closest right here and kind of impacting viewers that watch us. But up in northern Oklahoma right now, so we're talking Grant, Kay, Noble counties as well up there. In northern Oklahoma, we have a few tornado warnings. So if you're in the Blackwell area, Newkirk, Ponca City, north of Perry, near Enid as well, you need to be taking shelter.
Okay. All right, yeah, Coy. And again, we're going to let our folks that are focused statewide work on those things. We're going to talk about this here near the metro. Real quick, want to pass along some information, learning that there is significant damage here in Norman as a result of what I believe was a tornado touchdown here on campus and what is potentially a continuing tornado here, which again, go ahead, Josh, and take me to shear rate real quick while you give me your update.
Yeah, just preliminary report coming in of possible injuries now being reported in southeast Norman.
Okay.
Near the Postal Training Center.
Okay, all right, folks, this is wild. This is two areas I'm extremely familiar with. Not only is this my hometown, that area that was potentially mostly impacted here in Norman is where I lived for a year and a half here when I was on campus. Okay, so this is very real. This is real for us as students. This is real for us as Normanites. This is real for us as an OU community. We hope and we pray that everybody's okay. We hope and we pray that not significant damage is happening. We're working to gather that information. And while we do, let's continue to follow this as it again tracks its way from Potawatomi into Lincoln County. Coy Taylor, go ahead.
Okay, so we are getting, I've seen a picture that we can't show at the moment, but a picture of damage near the Ave. So that's 9 Highway, so Oklahoma 9 and 12th Avenue of trees over, as well as I've also got reports, I don't know if we can get the news team on this, fire trucks at Couch, or fire trucks are headed to Couch to get students out of the elevator that are stuck.
Okay, all right, good report there. Thanks, Coy.
Also, real quick, power flashes being reported near Shawnee, which is that storm that you're looking at right there, moving toward Prague. And also the reissuing a severe thunderstorm warning for northern Oklahoma with 90-mile-per-hour winds there.
Okay, go ahead, Dana.
OG&E customers' power outages have doubled from 7,000 customers to almost 15,000 now, and we are at about 54,000 people without power in the state of Oklahoma. So those power outages just keep increasing as the night goes on.
And that's 15,000 homes, folks. What do you got? Average of 3 or 4 people in a home. So you take that 15,000, multiply it by 3 or 4, looking at a significant event. Now, Coy, go ahead. What do you got for us?
So Shawnee, again, I think that area of circulation has moved down, now going to be south of I-40 around the Shawnee area.
Let's zoom in. Let's go to velocity
let's
again.
go in there and give the first alert, or the alert to what would be
take this graphic away,
Oklahoma
control room.
Baptist University in the town of Shawnee. I don't know how many people live there, but it's a pretty big town there along I-40.
Let's zoom in close. We've got video coming in Norman. Let's hold off on that, control room. I want to talk through this here. Let's zoom in close here, folks, because this is, again, I know this place like the back of my hand, okay? All right, so let's get in here. So we've got Interstate 40 to the north here, okay? And now let's see what we can do here in terms. So this is Kickapoo Street, okay? Everybody in Shawnee knows where Kickapoo is. And then again, 1 mile east is Harrison. Now, we got our bearing straight. Let's zoom out just a little bit. And again, Oklahoma Baptist University right in here, okay? So this is the gust front, which again, if we queried this, would probably tell us 70, 80, or 90, okay? And overall, this is continuing to move eastward as it moves into the community of Shawnee. If you live in Shawnee, you need to be taking your tornado precautions, okay? That includes everybody in Shawnee south of I-40, in Shawnee north of I-40. And yeah, hey, if you ever wondered how much of an Okie I am, this is Ekentucky. If you live in Ekentucky, get in your safe spot over from Ekentucky to Johnson, Garden Grove up north to the community of Prague, Keokuk Falls, all those places I just named off, you need to be in your safe spot. Coy Taylor, go ahead.
Yes. Okay, so I am getting some photos in. I don't know, I'll get these to the control room so we can show them and pinpoint the exact location, but we have site-built structures that are made of brick, the walls crumbling. Colton, if you want to come look at these, and we have a car overturned. I'm trying to describe these pictures to you. I don't know exactly where they're from, but they are somewhere in Norman. I can confirm that. So this is probably a very dangerous situation that we had occur right through Norman here. So I think we had confirmed reports of some injuries via the NWS chat. So our news team, again, is on that. And if we do have any damage video, we can hopefully take that up, because I think that's going to be the more pressing issue for students on campus. Again, that circulation there, Colton, if you can point that out. Again, in the northern sides of Shawnee, getting ready to cross over I-40.
Yeah.
So no travel advised there on I-40.
Okay, all right, here's the deal, folks. I'm going to lay it out for you. We've got all kinds of information flooding into our newsroom about damage across Norman. Very quickly, we need to keep this thing under wraps here. We need to keep this thing under tabs, because we really have got a continuing circulation now that we've got to follow. We'll come back to Norman. We'll assess damage. The more photos we get in, the more serious this continues to look, okay? So we're here. We're here tonight. We're here with the coverage. But first, let's handle the folks that are in the path of this. Let's try our warnings again, folks at the weather desk. At some point, if we can, I'd like to get our warnings back on. If not, I'm following it right here. No worries at all. As that tornado warning does continue now. Yeah, please, Coy.
And then this circulation is going to be just north of Shawnee Regional Airport, and right in the area of Oklahoma Baptist University.
Let's zoom in here.
Cross I-40 to a major travel stop. It looks like there's a Brahms there, Shawnee Mall, Lowe's, Chick-fil-A there as well. So
Shawnee Mall, folks. That's here. This is the mall. Okay, so here's the deal. Here is that circulation now. So this looks like, so this goes up to 8 a lot. Okay, so I know exactly where we are now. Yeah, Coy is correct. This is Shawnee Mall. Okay, Shawnee Mall right here. This thing is continuing to track off to the north and the east. This is Garrett's Lake Road. Okay, and then 2 miles north is Moccasin Trail. Adelet, if you can see, you're in the clear. So northbound 177 into Meeker is clear. Okay, but as we look over here into Garden Grove, and into Johnson, Ekentucky, up to Belmont, and eventually into Prague, and yeah, look at that, folks. That is called a debris ball. That is radar signature that there is debris being lofted into the atmosphere just north of the community of Shawnee. Coy, Josh, let's zoom in here. That is just north of the Shawnee Mall. Thankfully, I will tell you, folks, thankfully, you would much rather this thing pass right here than right here. Okay, I'll tell you that. Behind the Shawnee Mall, on the north side of the Shawnee Mall, is pretty unpopulated, okay? Especially considering just south of it is not. Again, we're looking, this is West Tech Road, okay? The Black Hawk Casino right here, that's a landmark you might know. The Black Hawk Casino here, 1 mile north on Harrison to Garrett's Lake Road, that's where the circulation actually probably already is, considering, yeah, oh my goodness, folks, that is a debris ball over Garrett's Lake Road and North Harrison. This is Sunshine Shelley's pumpkin patch right here, where this debris ball is headed over. I told you, I knew this area like the back of my hand, okay? And this is Wolverine Road, eventually headed up to Moccasin Trail, tracking northeastward to the community of Prague, okay? It's looking now like it's going to pass on the north side of Johnson. Belmont may not be out of the clear. Garden Grove and Ekentucky overall look like they're out of the clear, okay? Ekentucky River Bottom probably out of the clear. Everybody else, Meeker out of the clear. Ada-Lot, just barely going to miss you. If this thing continues on its track, it's going to pass either over Prague or just to the northwest of it. Josh, let's do a storm track on this. Thank you. Yeah, good work there, reading my mind. Going over Prague. As we do, a tornado warning continues. Even though you can't see it here, tornado warning does continue. We're moving into Prague at 10:07. Okay, Wilzetta, folks, we know where that's at. So Wilzetta, Lake Road in Prague, 10:07. Moving over into the Arlington area at 10:11. Okay, eventually on into Payton and over Midway at 10:18. Folks know where Midway is. That's the intersection of Payton Road and 970 at Midway. Okay, at 10:18 p.m. Eventually is where the circulation has the very real potential to go. We want to follow this until it makes it through that area. At least I do. Okay. All right, Coy Taylor, let's do an update real fast.
Yeah, I just want to say that our warnings are down right now, and that's not going to be fixed. The power hit that we took here at OU kind of let us lose that, and we're not going to get that situated until probably tomorrow when staff returns and we can fix network issues. But again, we are tracking this towards the Prague area in Meeker in there. So if you live in Meeker and in Prague and in between those areas, you need to be taking your tornado precautions.
Absolutely, folks. All right, thanks, Coy. Okay, let's look at this briefly. Let's jump away from tornado coverage briefly. Want to talk over here. So this is at 12th Avenue and Highway 9 in southeast Norman. This is very near the Walmart Supercenter there in Norman at 12th Avenue. And Highway 9 near the Walmart Supercenter. Again, looking at an uprooted tree here. What I still continue to believe was a tornado on the ground in the community of Norman that passed very close to the OU campus. Again, we're continuing to assess about what all of this might be straight line wind damage versus tornado damage, but I continue to think that this is tornado damage. Okay, good work there, folks. Have crews continue to assess. Coy, go ahead, then we got to talk about this tornado.
Yeah, I was just going to give the all clear right now to Shawnee. The circulation has passed you and lifted north of I-40, as well as the all cleared towards McLeod, as well as Pink, and anywhere near Lake Thunderbird. You are in the all clear right now. Catherine, yes?
Yeah, we have a report of insulation that is everywhere at the Ave right now. We're pulling that video up. As we speak, this is coming from one of our students.
Okay, let's take that briefly, and then I want to get back to this because this is a continuing developing tornado in Pottawatomie headed into Lincoln County. Yeah, not a good picture there. Okay, that's at the Avenue. We know exactly where that's at, students. That's in southeastern Norman. A lot of us have friends and folks that live there, and so not a good situation. Okay, let's get back to radar. Josh, let's do some velocity. Again, a debris ball. So I told you this thing was headed straight northeast. In the last couple of scans, it has ridden off to the north. Okay, it has ridden off to the north, now crossed over Moccasin Trail. Now it's over Hazeldale Road. This thing is going to pass to the west of Prague the way it seems now. Moving on. Josh, let's zoom in here. Let's get some streets. Let's zoom in here. Okay, so the rotation, the center of the rotation is going to be 1 mile east of the community of Meeker at 1070 Road. That's the center of the circulation. As it's going to continue to ride off to the northeast, it's going to cross Highway 62 somewhere between 3450 Road and it looks like, what's that called? Crossland Road. So between 3450 and 3470 and Highway 62 is where the current strongest circulation, including what I could believe is still a tornado on the ground, is going to cross over Highway 62, again, going to pass to the west of the community of Prague, just east of Meeker. Go ahead, Coy Taylor.
So I know we're talking about the Ave a lot because there's a lot of students that live there, but I think that is going to be on the south, what would be east side of the circulation that moved through here. I think we're going to find that there's probably some more damage a little bit closer, a little bit north, closer to Highway 9. So if the control room can kind of relocate some of our crews to a little bit closer to Highway 9 and maybe go a little further out over towards maybe 24th Avenue, up towards Lindsay Street over there, where it moves over down towards Imhoff Road in there. There's a 7-Eleven over there, as well as eventually as it continued to push through some parts of Norman.
Okay, all right, thanks, Coy. All right, let's keep tracking what is now a pretty significant, what I would call a debris ball on radar, passing just to the east of the community of Meeker. Josh, how old is this radar scan? It's not entirely important, but just curious.
That, from what I've got from radar scope, that's about 9:55. It is currently 9:58, so about 3 minutes old. So it's probably across that highway between Meeker and Prague.
Yeah, it's probably crossed Highway 62 at this point. I want to point out Prague Lake is right here. Okay, folks in the region, we know where Prague Lake is. All right, this thing is likely going to pass on the north side of Prague Lake, out near Wilzetta. Okay, going to pass over there. Let's zoom out a little bit, Josh. I want to talk about the bullseye of this thing because folks in Sparks, unless this thing turns directly north, is likely not going to impact you. But the folks in the Arlington area need to take a big time heads up here, and then eventually on into the northern sides of Payton. Okay, several, Midway is here, McCalber is out here, moving up eventually into Creek County over through Welty. New radar scan came in. Let's check it out. It looks like rotation has decreased to some degree. Let's check that out, and let's put on some shear rate here. Let's do some shear rate. Maximum rotation just on the east side of Meeker. Okay. All right, let's go to Dana Searles now as I'm seeing more and more video flood into the newsroom. Go ahead, Dana.
Yeah, Colton, as we see, we are assessing all those damages from when that possible touchdown hit. Couch storm shelter, we said earlier that a student was stuck in the elevator. We actually have video. A fire truck just pulled up to the Couch towers there, and you can see a fire truck is there trying to get those students out, making sure those students are safe. We'll keep you updated as we follow along this update at Couch storm shelters. Coy's got something for us. Coy?
Okay, Dana, I just want to reiterate, we are getting those damage reports, like I said, in from near the Ave, but my hypothesis, I think, is going to be correct, that the damage, the worst damage is going to be a little further north from the Ave, so if we can reposition those crews. But also, we have down power lines, just saw it with visual confirmation, near the on-queue there at Classen and 9, that was just built recently, within the past 2 years here in Norman. Down power lines, there's emergency responders on the scene. Obviously, don't get out of your car. Yeah, can we put up iNet real quick for us? Control room, take iNet for us. At this point, it's breaking news, so we can't really polish anything. But here's what it looks like. Look at those power lines down. Again, that on-queue built within the last 2 years. 9 highway overpass right there, just north of the on-queue. But you can see those power poles bent over. So we have down power lines. The stoplight looks like it's still working, but down power lines. Again, please stay put. Let the first responders do their job and get these people the help that they need. They don't need people clogging up the roadways and whatnot. But Colton, let's get back to this tornado warning.
Yeah, I want to say quickly, to me, guys, that looks more like straight line wind damage than it does tornado damage. Whenever you see a mile-long stretch of power lines that got blown over from west to east, that makes sense because we had very...
There's not that twisting that would be associated with a tornado.
Exactly. Had very strong westerly winds. When we were talking about what a derecho of this thing could be, that's what kind of damage we can do. Not only do we have tornado strength winds, we have widespread tornado strength winds. Okay, good news here looking at radar. Overall, it looks like this rotation is continuing to subside for the time in Lincoln County. Again, I'm still watching an area just south of the tiny community of Payson, about 3 or 4 miles south of Payson, that's going to continue to move northeast, eventually north of Wilzetta and into Arlington. Let's go ahead, Coy.
Can we scroll down on our screen for us? South of Prague, it looks like we have a developing spot of new rotation. I don't know if it's, I think it's going to be right there where your iPad is.
So it
like
looks,
right,
yeah, I was going to say.
There where shear rate is, yeah, go ahead.
So this is the North Canadian River. This is a community that no longer exists called Keokuk Falls, but there are still folks that live in what they would call Keokuk Falls into Centerview. So this is the North Canadian River. This is Interstate 40 right here. This is Highway 377, okay? This is the I-40 and 377 interchange. Your most intense area of rotation. Josh, let's zoom in. Let me count the miles here. I believe, if my memory serves me right, this is mile marker 200. So then we would go 199, 198, 197 would be where the strongest area of rotation is. If my memory serves me correct, this would be mile marker 197, moving northeastward into the tiny community of Centerview, and eventually lifting northward into the community of Prague. Folks, if you live in Prague, you're not out of the clear yet. Go ahead, Coy.
I just want us to go back to shear rate for us. Can you step on screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Colton, real quick. Hold your finger right there, and then can we go to CC? And I just want you to see that and kind of, if you step back a little bit, there is some lowering.
Yeah.
I can't tell if that's due to the rotation. All these images were taken at the same time.
Yeah,
But the jet stream winds, as you know, are ripping aloft.
Absolutely.
So if we got at least a little rotation down the line, maybe a touchdown, it could have lofted the debris and like sent it, flying off towards the northeast.
Absolutely. Yep. So Josh, let's hit velocity again. The latest velocity update is there's still, I see what I would call a little bit of coupling there. Overall, we're looking pretty good. You guys monitor the chat, see if we see anything in terms of this thing continuing. If not, we can kind of turn our attention. Let's jump back northwest a little bit, because this area of rotation is still continuing to exist as it treks towards Will Zeta. And this has continued to be tornado warned. This tornado warning doesn't expire for 11 minutes. This is on the downtrend. That new radar scan is intimidating. Let's take our INET computer control room, and if somebody can let me know where this is, I'm going to imagine this is in Norman. If we can take our INET computer control room.
It is Wheatland and Clearwater.
Okay, all right, Dana Searles, go ahead.
Yeah, Colton, we're getting video from our OU Nightly reporters out there at Wheatland and Clearwater. Let's take a look at this video here of some damage that happened in a neighborhood. It's pretty significant from the storms that came through. I mean, I think once we take that up, we can take a look at what it looks like. Looks like the roof there is pretty damaged. We got a lot of flashing lights, so it looks like people are out there assessing the damages. But again, that's some serious damage that happened. And we'll keep an eye on the damage throughout the town as we continue our coverage. Again, that's in Wheatland and Clearwater.
That is, I just want to step in and
Say that is just north of Highway 9 and just east of 24th Avenue, that Clearwater in Wheatland, if anybody didn't know where that was. So that is right north of the NCED Hotel and Conference Center over there in East Norman.
Okay, all right, good stuff, guys. Good reports. Okay, continuing to work on our tornado warning here, and once this expires, we're going to talk more about damage in Norman. Let's go ahead back to the weather desk real fast, guys. Go ahead.
All right, just kind of want to do a quick reset here because we do have 3 active tornado warnings.
Yeah,
in the state.
yeah.
Again, they're not showing up on our system here due to the power outage, but the one that we've been focusing on that's now getting close to Prague, it will continue here for another 10 minutes, but again, the rotation does not appear to be quite as strong as it was a few minutes ago.
Yep.
Then there's another one located now east of Paul's Valley.
Let's go down there, Josh. Let's hit shear radar velocity and let's go down there, as this is an impressive velocity signature, which also maybe some nickel or dime size hail in there. Again, velocity signature, you see it's trying to twist in. This is going to pass, looks like on the north side of Ada. Again, Highway 377 here runs from Ada up through Kanawha. And look at this, along the whole line we talked about earlier, there's convergence on this line that's causing what our radar is picking up as shear, which is rotation. Not every bit of this is spinning. Like I said earlier, you'll never convince me that none of this is spinning. Really, this extends from Shawnee all the way down into Sulphur, okay? Yeah, let's.
Area of rotation is intensifying just south of Prague
Yeah.
on the county line.
Yep.
It looks like between Potawatomi and Lincoln.
Yep.
Right over the county line right now.
So County Line Road, right there just south of Prague. Yeah, let's zoom in there, Josh. So it looks like the most intense area of rotation is now passing just north of a small community we call Centerview. This is, Josh, keep zooming in here. Well, let's go. I can tell you exactly where all this stuff is. So this is Hazeldale Road here. So this is the community of Prague. Highway 377 runs out of the south side of Prague, and it looks like the most intense rotation is now on 1080. And again, that's what Coy and I are talking about. That's County Line Road there. Okay, County Line Road, just south of County Line Road. But again, let's zoom out just a tad, if you can, Josh, just a tad. I want to point out to the Prague folks, I know some are watching, point out, let's zoom out a little bit more. I want to see the community. The community itself is not under the most intense rotation. That does not mean that there's not very intense winds pushing through as we speak. This is, again, the community of Prague. And we just got a new radar update. Looks like that area of rotation has decreased just a bit. I want to point out, tornado warning has been continued. Josh, I want to zoom out here. If we have the possibility, we don't necessarily have to draw it out, but I want to talk about this. Let's zoom out some more here because I want to point this out. As the tornado warning has continued, again, folks, keep in mind, we had power bumps that dropped our tornado warning system tonight, but there's a new tornado warning that exists now into Creek County, Okay, that exists. It runs parallel to Interstate 44 up over to the community where it's called Slick. It's up near the old community of Milfay. That runs back down over. Okay, I want to continue here. Runs all the way back down over. It looks like into far eastern parts of Ofuskie County, cuts back through Okemah and Castle and comes back up the Lincoln-Ofuskie County line. So a big region of here is under tornado warning.
Can we get a storm track on this to help visualize just a little bit here, if we could draw a storm track for the viewers? I just want to pass along some reports from my sources that I'm getting in here. Quote, utilities are working to get things switched over at Headington Hall. It will be a little while, and the power hit took out half of campus. So campus officials are telling people, at least at Headington Hall, that it will be a while before power turns back on. But again, we're going to get this storm track on here for these communities as this rotation moves into parts of Creek County, and then I'm guessing we're going to have to switch over to Tulsa's radar site, INX, here pretty shortly as this thing continues to speed off towards the north and east.
And and to your point, Coy, it's doing almost directly due northeast. I would say, this is probably a pretty decent track here. So coming into the community of Payton, which this thing is currently on pace to do. Small community of Payton at 10:13, okay? So that gives you 4 minutes. Yeah, if you think about it, this thing is just south of Prague, and it's going to be in Payton in 4 minutes. You can't drive there that quick. Guys, go ahead.
Yeah, Cole, just now receiving a report of damage near Prague in the NWS chat.
Okay, all right, thanks, guys. So reports of damage near Prague, I'm going to assume on the south side of the community. Sure, it won't take long for me to hear about that. Maybe have a couple photos or videos coming in as well. So we do know there's still damage associated with this, why we got to continue to follow this as it makes its way. So so going to be moving into Payton in the next few minutes, over eventually into the north sides of Boley at 10:17, be in the small community of IXL at 10:22. It's looking like the rotation's going to pass north of Castle. Okay, Castle right here, the intersection of Highway 62 and Highway 48. The Castle store looks like it will be spared from this rotation right here at Highway 62 and 48. Going to pass north over Welty, over Highway 48, probably in the next 10 minutes. And then it's going to eventually move into Creek County and over towards the Tulsa area, which is where we can then eventually begin to focus more and more on damage here in Norman. Let's track this until it makes it out of Ofuskie County. And then we can make it on out of here. Okay, I see lots of videos coming into the newsroom. Control room, if you guys want to take any of this, let me know, and we will pop this up immediately. For now, let's do an update. Okay.
Real quick, sorry about that, Colton, to cut you off.
No, you're fine, Coy, go ahead.
So we kind of have this one line from, I'd say, where this tornado warning is right now, this area of rotation we're tracking. So from pretty much the Bristow area to Prague and Point South. We have this line continuing to pretty much the Red River, pretty continuous line. We have a severe thunderstorm warning from pretty much Ardmore to South Tulsa. Tulsa Metro not included in that. And then we have another line of storms in northern Oklahoma right now. We do have a tornado warning again for Ponca City. You need to be taking your tornado precautions up there. So we kind of got two lines that we're monitoring. It looks like there's some showers trying to go up near Fairfax as well. And we are going to continue to watch both of these lines as it moves through. If you're watching in the Tulsa Metro, just rain right now, no severe thunderstorm warning for you. And we're going to go over to Dana Cyril. She has some more updates to provide for us. Dana?
Yeah, Coy, we are getting word from OU Housing that students have gotten a text to remain in buildings still, that there are crews assessing getting the power back on. If you need to leave, use the main entrances and avoid using the elevators. Let's check this out. We got some video of damage that happened over at a light in Norman. Let's take a look. It looks like power lines are down. We've got sirens out there. We got some lights going that they're assessing those damages. So we'll keep an update on that and the damages throughout Norman. Again, we're just starting to find more and more damage, so we'll keep an eye on that. OU Nightly is the only media team covering the city of Norman, or the campus area right now, so we're going to keep you updated on that. It looks like Coy's got another update. Coy, what's up?
Okay, can we go back to that storm near Prague? So we're just talking right into Creek County along, I don't know what that road is that runs from Prague to Payton, I believe. Is that how you say that? Okay, Highway 62, we have circulation right over there as of about 10:10 p.m. It is now 10:12 p.m. So that has probably moved off towards the northeast of Payton right now. So that's moving into parts of Creek County, northeastern Creek County. So you need to be taking your tornado precautions there. Again, storm shelter, lowest level of your house. Catherine, what do you got?
Yeah, coming in from the National Weather Service, Tulsa, tornadic circulation approaching Payton and Ofusky, thank you, Ofusky County, and they say to take cover now.
All right, let's talk about this. This community, Payton, small community. Here's the rotation, 1.5 miles west of the community of Payton. This continues to move northeast. It probably passed just north of the community. Payton Park is right here. Okay, so probably passed right over the park or just north of the community. Still a lot of folks that live on the north side of Payton right here, and this is going to continue to track off to the northeast. It's going to miss Boley. Overall, again, 1.5 miles just to the west of the community of Payton, cross Highway 62 near River Road, going to cross 3620. A lot of folks know that as Payton Road. Okay, Payton Road right here looks like it got crossed. Probably, as Coy said, this radar scan's just a couple minutes old. Probably got crossed just a moment ago or so. Josh, let's take INX radar and see what that looks like, unless we were on INX.
Can we also kind of zoom out just a little bit and go down to what would be the Creek County line and turn on correlation coefficient? I don't know what the county south of that is, but it looks like we have another area of rotation. So I think we're monitoring a
Seminole County.
Few areas of rotation. Yeah, Seminole and Creek counties right now.
Well,
along the river there, I believe, is that the Oklahoma or Canadian River?
So this is going to be the North Canadian. This is going to be the Ofusky, Potawatomi, or I'm sorry, Ofusky Seminole County line. Josh, let's turn on correlation coefficient. Let's go northeast just a tad. As we look here, that's a signature, Coy. Is this what we're thinking here? I'm thinking.
Right over the river. It's on radar scope here out of TLX. And okay, yeah, it has broadened out a little bit.
Yeah.
If we go back one radar scan,
Jump back a frame.
If we jump back one frame for us or put it into loop, you can kind of see it
boom,
develop.
right there.
It was a little tighter, but then it starts to.
'Kay.
So maybe like a brief touchdown possibly, and then that debris is lofted and just up in the upper atmosphere with the jet stream.
This is the North Canadian River, folks, right here. This is Ofusky County. This is Seminole County. This is Potawatomi County, and this is Lincoln County. Get your bearings straight. Happened, it looks like, on the North Canadian River between Seminole and Ofusky counties. What was potentially a small tornado touchdown that is now lofted debris in the atmosphere that's broadened out. Okay, let's go to Dana Searles for an update. This thing looks to be weakening. We're going to keep tracking this for just a moment. We need to turn our attention back to some damage here in Norman, though. Dana, go ahead.
Yeah, Colton, we've got some damage on Frost Lane near the USPS Center, which is right off of Highway 9. Let's take a look at this video right here that we've got from a viewer. Looks like this car is pretty damaged. You've got a lot of hail, a lot of shattered windows right there. You can see it's just been through the ringer a little bit, and it looks like you can see all the debris that flew in near that house. The light shining right on there. You can see that hail damage right on the windshield there, and debris, again, all over the ground. It's pretty bad out there, and again, this is right off of Frost Lane by Highway 9 near the USPS Center. Looks like we're going around the house. You can see a lot of damage inside the house right there. In the garage area, all that debris that flew in, you can see that's just all from those crazy winds that just came through earlier. And it's pretty sad, all this damage that we're seeing, but we'll keep you updated with that damage throughout the night. Colton?
Yeah, thanks, Dana. Okay, all right, good stuff there. I know we've got crews continuing to track some damage.
There's a major police presence on 12th and Highway
9.
Okay.
According to reports.
Okay, can we go back to that storm up near, we're going to be near Okima.
Yeah.
It looks like we had another circulation confirmed, at least with radar, of a debris signature.
Let's go north,
from
Josh.
the 1015 scan near Boley and Castle.
Okay. This again.
Along, looks like the Highway 62. It looked like it briefly spun up. So it looks like we're getting multiple areas of rotation, briefly touch down, maybe pick up some debris, and then a new area forms. That's kind of the threat we're transitioning
Folks,
into, Colton.
This is my neck of the woods right here, okay? So this is Highway 62. Here's Highway 48. Like Coy said, potentially getting debris that's lofted into the atmosphere. This is shear rate. Continuing to watch areas of shear. Preg, Meeker, Shawnee, you're in the clear, okay? But as rotation continues now, as we head eastward, this is ultimately, as Coy said, areas of rotation that may be producing small tornadoes. But right now, looking like many areas. Hey, let's turn on velocity. Let's jump a few miles north of Payton. Josh, what I'm seeing here, about 4 miles northeast of Payton. This would be right here, Josh. Okay, the coupling's not as impressive as it looks on here, but ultimately, you know.
Okay, can we also go south now?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. We do have another developing tornado now south of here.
Okay, so another circulation looks like, at least with storm relative velocity, I think that's what we're going to have to start using. If we're not using it, it looks like we got it up on the screen. Just north of I-40, getting ready to move into Okima. And also to pass along, we have Apple Maps, a great tool. I love it when it shows up the traffic displays. It looks like we have some traffic slowing on I-40 and what would be 3600 road, and that's about where that circulation that I was pointing out with correlation coefficient moved over I-40 possibly. They're south of Prague, south end what would be east of Prague. So it looks like at least something moved over the roadway to slow down traffic for a little bit with the real-time maps from Apple that we are getting in. But again, we're watching that developing area of circulation getting ready to push into Okima at the moment.
Okay, couple reports, personal reports here. Most of the community of Prague is without power. Folks, if you're watching in Prague, you can come out of your safe spot. You're good to go. Maybe some rain hanging on, but overall, no more tornado threat. And hopefully power gets restored soon. Yeah, continue to watch circulation move towards Okima. Let's track this thing until it gets out of Ofuskee County, and let's turn our attention to damage in Norman. I know we got an update from Dana. Dana, go ahead.
Yeah, Colton, OG&E is saying that the severe weather has obviously taken out a lot of the power here. It looks like about a little over 24,000 people. They set a statement out there. You can see much of Norman is without power, a lot over by Lake Thunderbird. But OG&E crews said that the wind moved across the OG&E service area tonight, and when it's safe for the crews to work, they will assess the damage and restore the power for customers. However, they say to stay away from downed power lines and anything that may be touching those. You can visit the OG&E Storm Center for any more information on those power outages. Colton?
Okay, yeah, guys, let's jump down to one of our other tornado warnings here. That's continuing now in southern Oklahoma and south central Oklahoma, really quickly near the community of Kanawha, as we continue to assess damage here in Norman. Okay, so again, tornado warning system is down tonight because of our power outage earlier, but that does not mean we can't tell you where they are. We got a new tornado warning, or not a new tornado warning, we do have a tornado warning continuing. Yeah, Josh, go ahead.
Yeah, Colton, near this tornado warning, they're just about to issue another one just to the south for Ada.
Okay, all right, so the community of Ada, East Central University in Ada. This is a major intersection of several highways. I wish I could tell you all of them. I know Highway 377, as well as several other highways, converge here in the community of Ada. That is intense rotation in Ada. So there's a tornado warning covering the community of Bing, from Kanawha to Bing up through Sasakwa. There's going to be a new tornado warning issued for the community of Ada and northeastward. That's probably going to also include Sasakwa, Allen, maybe eventually to Calvin and to the community of Gertie. Okay, so Ada continuing. Tornado warning does continue to take your tornado precautions in Ada. East Central University in Ada. Go to your safe spot on campus there. We know that campus does well in terms of their tornado precautions. And folks, we're getting a lot of tornado pictures of damage into our newsroom here as we continue to track these. Let's talk to Josh Duncan quickly, and then let's get some tornado damage assessment in here.
Colton, now a new tornado warning for Seminole. So basically this whole entire line now from near Bristow all the way down to Ada is basically under an active tornado warning.
Okay, all right, so let's talk about that. This new one in Seminole is unique. It's not a tornado on the leading edge. Take reflectivity here, Josh. This one's going to be embedded in rain. So we've seen tornadoes on the front side of the system and on the back side. And if we zoom in here to Seminole, again, Seminole State College, take your tornado precautions. This thing is notching on the back side, the northwestern side of Seminole. And you see here where our greens are touching our reds, right here where they're very close, just south of Seminole. This is Highway 377 between Seminole and Bowlegs. Seminole, not a stranger to a tornado. A tornado was it last May, Catherine? 1 May ago in Seminole?
It was 1 May ago.
1 May ago.
May 5th, I believe.
Yeah, May 5th. Intense tornado, EF3, EF4 damage in Seminole around that time. This one obviously does not look as intense, but I can tell you folks are still cleaning up in the community of Seminole from that last one. So a new touchdown would not be good. Okay, so new tornado warning. Go ahead, Coy.
Can I jump in here? Obviously, this is an important storm that we need to be on, but we also need to go down to the Ada storm because it looks like the circulation right over the population center in Ada right now.
Okay.
If we can throw up rotation there.
Yeah, right there. Boom. Look at that. So I'm going to hold my finger here. That is probably where the maximum rotation is, right over downtown Ada, Oklahoma. And Ada is not a small community, folks. It's just like Shawnee, one university there, East Central University, right here where these greens are meeting their reds. This is where the most intense circulation is from Ada, eventually moving over through Homer, eventually up to Oakman, up to Hurd. But right now, just over Ada, like Coy said, directly over that population center, the most intense rotation now looks to be just northeast of Ada, just east of the airport. Dana, go ahead.
Yeah, Colton, we have our reporters out actually on the scene right by Classen and Highway 9 over by the on-queue that there is some reported damage. Dakota McDowell-Wapakichi's out there covering that. Dakota, can you tell us what it's looking like out there?
Yeah, outside of Classen Boulevard and Highway 9 at the on-queue, there's a lot of damage. You can see right here at the on-queue, the roof is missing a little bit. You got a couple trucks down there. But then right here, you got a couple power lines. I mean, look at this wood. I mean, look at that. That is cut clean, and you get a couple power lines down just right over there. Cops are having to put people through and make sure that they don't drive over something. I'm gonna go to a couple more spots around. I've driven around, there's a couple trees, and a lot of places like Light 12th are blocked off. The bridge on Highway 9 going over Classen Boulevard is blocked off. No one has really been able to go on that road, so they're having to detour around. I'll have more in a little bit. Let's toss it back to the studio.
Thanks, Dakota. Yeah, we'll be assessing that damage all night. We're hearing a damage all over Norman, and of course, we're going to get our crews and pictures and videos as fast as we can. Coy, our other meteorologist, Coy Taylor, has a little update. Coy, what's up?
Yeah, I'm just watching radar real quick, and we are seeing some light showers on the backside of this just push through Norman. So I know maybe some people who are out sightseeing of the damage, or news crews that are collecting it, emergency responders on the scene, might be seeing a few brief light showers move through, but these again are non-severe. They're already pushing into Lake Thunderbird as these storms are continuing to race off towards the east. But again, the severe threat has ended. Maybe a sprinkle or two or a light shower here over the next 30 minutes to an hour, but there was no severe threat. That has since passed the Oklahoma City Metro, so they're all clear to Cleveland, Oklahoma, and Canadian counties here in the Metro.
All right, good work. And hey, big time work there to Dakota McDowell-Wapakichi. Huge work there, getting right in the mix of what we found has been the most significant damage. Again, I believe was a tornado touchdown in the community of Norman, but most likely due to the straight line winds. Okay. All right, talking about this Ada storm once again, watching still this area of rotation. It doesn't look as impressive as it did just a moment ago as it bounces its way into Happy Land. I do want to talk about, Josh, let's go to the INX radar. Let's hit the Tulsa radar here. And as this is just about to move out of our viewing area here as we head closer to Tulsa. But let's go to the Tulsa radar. Let's talk back about this storm that's now moving from Ofuskie County into Creek County. That is just now crossing Highway 48 north of IXL. North of Castle, about 8 or 9 miles north of Castle. Now, Josh, we're going to go right in here, talk about right here on the Ofuskie County line. Let's go north just a tad. Let's go north just a tad. Here, the Ofuskie County line. There's our couplet, and you see it's not as impressive as it was just a few minutes ago as it continues to track into Creek County and eventually into Beggs. Tornado warning does continue for another 3 minutes. I'm not sure if the Weather Service is planning to continue this tornado warning, but this is pretty much going to now move into the Tulsa area, and we're going to let those folks handle that. So tornado threat has ended now for the northern sides of Ofuskie County, and barring any atmospheric phenomenon that none of us are expecting, the Ofuskie County will be in the clear. So that was a wild ride, folks, riding tornadoes from Norman up into Shawnee, up over to Meeker and Prague, up through Payton, up into Boley. They have now crossed into Creek County in what feels like the blink of an eye. Okay, let's do a statewide radar view while Coy Taylor gives us an update.
Yeah, Colton, I just want to jump in here for some perspective. At the beginning of the night, kind of off camera, we were talking about the potential for a historic night here across parts of the state that were thrown around by the National Weather Service office here in Norman. And I think this night is living up to that historic measure.
Yeah, I agree.
We've seen a possible touchdown here in Norman. We've seen multiple debris signatures in western Oklahoma, in the West Metro as well, near the Mustang area, near Yukon, one near Prague. We saw one near Shawnee. I mean, there have been multiple debris signatures here with isolated tornadoes that move through, which I think the most impressive signature that we saw moved right through Norman.
Yeah, I agree.
But that was because it was so close to the radar site. And again, there was heavy rain that was dumped with this storm. So the radar was having a tough job in it of itself, the technology, scanning through all that rain, the heavy rain that was falling with these storms, but still brought us a good picture of what was going on the ground. So I just think we need to put that into perspective as we kind of gather these damage reports.
Yeah.
And obviously, we'll try and learn as much as we can tonight. But when daylight or when day breaks tomorrow morning at sunrise, the National Weather Service office is going to be out surveying damage of all these storms and these debris signatures and getting us confirmation on the strength and the path length of these tornadoes. And then we will be working to gather any confirmed information that we can pass along about anything. Josh, you'd like to get in on this as well?
Yeah.
Just wanted to quickly clarify, earlier you mentioned a tornado warning for Seminole. That does not actually include the town itself, but it's the southeastern corner of Seminole County with the storm that just moved through Ada.
Okay, yeah. And hey guys, take a look at this. Josh, loop that again. You can loop it a little quicker if you'd like.
That's as fast as...
So look at this. So storms crossed into Oklahoma at 7 o'clock. We were here with you on OU Nightly. They raced eastward to I-35. They were here before 9 o'clock, and now they're headed. So traverse the state of Oklahoma halfway in 3 hours. You couldn't drive it that quickly. Okay. All right, Catherine, go ahead.
That tornado warning for Ada.
And Alan, and that tornado warning has extended until 11 p.m. And the National Weather Service is saying quarter-sized hail, and that tornado is radar indicated. So
okay,
and to piggyback off that, the town of Ada is now in the clear.
Yes.
That is going to be well east of Ada, so we're talking near Allen. Is going to be needed there to take their tornado precautions.
And
again,
ultimately,
Lois.
it's headed to McAllister.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's headed to McAllister.
Yes.
And Hartshorn, Wilburton, places like that. Okay, let's talk about this. Tornado warning expires in Ofuskie County. Tornado warning extended down near Ada. We are pretty much done with tornado warnings here in the Oklahoma City metro. I've seen several reports of damage.
Can we get in? So I know we have
in
the Tulsa area. They have a new severe thunderstorm warning, including parts of what would be Tulsa County right now until 11:15 p.m. Again, the National Weather Service office there in Tulsa says 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail are going to be possible with this storm as it rolls through. All radar indicated, and I know we've thrown around that term a lot tonight. It's because it's so dark outside, we can't really get spotter confirmation or visual confirmation because as these storms roll through, like here in Norman, the power was knocked out, so we really couldn't see unless we got a good lightning strike with these storms. So again, radar indicated heavy winds moving into Tulsa County as we speak.
Yeah, and it's going to be a busy day tomorrow for the National Weather Service in Norman and in Tulsa, talking about damage assessment. They're going to get out here. They're going to determine what was straight line wind. They're going to determine what was tornado damage. We're going to determine how strong the tornadoes were and ultimately what the impact was. But okay, it is 10:30 now here in Oklahoma. We are continuing to track severe weather, but ultimately our threat is ending here across the metro, and we're likely to shift gears here towards some more damage in the Norman area. I know Dana Searles has an update for us. Dana, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, Colton, thanks for that. It's looking like we have about 2,500 OG&E customers without power, so we're still going to assess those damages. And it looks like we're getting some reports of a possible gas leak at the Ave right in Norman, which is in south of Norman. We're going to see if we can get some video of that in a few minutes here, but I'll keep you updated on some damages as we go throughout the night. Obviously, we're getting a lot in, and we're going to keep you guys in touch with that. Again, OU Nightly is the only media outlet covering campus damage right now, so we'll keep you guys updated.
Dana, can I get in on this? So to piggyback off those power outages, here statewide, we have around 64,000 customers, with the bulk of those in southwest Oklahoma without power right now. And as the system continues to push off towards the east, power outages usually lag in what would be getting reported, so the damage moves through, and then probably 30 to 45 to an hour later, we will get those confirmed power outage reports. So like she said, people here in the metro without power, but again, southwest Oklahoma, central Oklahoma, and northern Oklahoma all are without power as well. 64,000 4,000 customers statewide in Oklahoma of about 2 million customers served by all the different power and energy providers without power. Josh?
All right, thanks, Coy, for that report. Yeah, power outage is definitely not a good news as all these storms have been moving through. So just want to get you up to date with the very latest here. Again, the storm is well east of the metro now. No threat for any additional severe weather for the Norman OU campus area or any of the Oklahoma City metro. These storms have been racing off to the east, and they're now really starting to get into eastern Oklahoma. So Tulsa, severe thunderstorm warning near the Tulsa area, but this does not look overly organized here on radar. So some wind gusts up to 60 or 70 miles per hour. Also some small hail possible, but currently no tornado signatures in that part of the state from what I can tell. And then we do still have the rotation that's down near Ada. If we can go ahead and zoom in on an area just northeast of Ada, this is probably the most intense area of rotation that we have at the current time. So we will get that pulled up for you here as we reset a little bit. Yes, so here we go. Again, metro clear of storms. Here are the storms right now. They're moving through the Tulsa area and also down through now just east of Ada. And this right here is the strongest storm that we have in the whole entire state right now. And it's just east of Ada. So if we can go ahead and plot on the velocities here as well, just to take a look at, because I think we do still have at least one, if not two, active tornado warnings now for Allen, Atwood, Calvin, Stewart, all communities that are just east of Ada. So here is a storm track. Now this is looking up near the Okemah area, and this is not tornado warned at this time, but this is just for some strong straight line winds. Here we go. This is the storm that currently has the tornado warnings associated with it. So if you could pop up velocity or shear rate.
Josh, give us one moment. We're going to throw up TLX now to get a little bit better view of this storm, and we'll zoom it on in for you here. Pause with this momentarily. Technology not our best friend, especially after the power hit. But we'll get you storm relative velocity there, Josh. And we will unlapse this for our viewers. So we'll pause to the most current frame. And again, this is out of Tulsa. So let's switch back to the Oklahoma City radar site, TLX. And you can kind of see that area of rotation. Josh, I'll draw it there on your screen, and you can kind of talk about it. But
yeah, so right now, doesn't look like an extremely tight area of rotation, but just a broad area of rotation now that's just northeast of Ada and continuing to race off to the northeast at about 50 to 60 miles per hour, the latest speed on this storm. But again, right now, the good news is that this signature does not look overly concerning. A tornado probably not in progress at this time, but again, the tornado warning continues here for another 25 minutes until the top of the hour at 11 o'clock. That's when this warning will be allowed to expire. And again, thank you for sticking with us here on OU Nightly with this live severe storm coverage continuing. We do want to apologize that the warnings themselves are not showing up on our computer system because we took a power hit here, and that affected the data processing, and so we do not have the current warnings and watches to display. But again, we can reemphasize that the threat is now east of the OKC metro, and that there is now, it appears that tornado warning was just allowed to expire.
Okay, so then that means, I see that too, Josh. So now the only tornado warned storm, if we take it north to the Ponca City area, getting ready to move into Osage County. That's the home of Pawhuska, Oklahoma, made famous by the pioneer woman. But we'll get over towards Dana Searles, who has an update from the news desk. Dana?
Yeah, thanks, Coy. We are assessing all of those damages throughout Norman. We actually have a new damage that we're seeing here off of Conway Drive. And let's take a look at this video here. It looks like it is a whole entire car that was flipped on top of this house. And you can just see right there how powerful those winds were and how much damage we are seeing. That is a whole car, you guys, on top of that roof. You can see there a whole grill even flew over, and that's pretty dangerous because propane tanks are connected to that. So that can make in a car with the gas in it. You never know what can come out of that. but thankfully it looks like there are some crews there assessing those damages. But again, super significant damages that are happening over there. Again, that car was over on Conway Drive, and it looks like there you can see the roads backed up, closed off just because of all those power lines out. So we're going to keep tracking those damages, and we'll keep you guys updates. Josh?
Thanks, Dana. And yes, we do now have some new video coming in. So let's go ahead and take iNet and take a look at this here. This is video that we're seeing. It looks like downed power lines on Highway 9 near the on-cue. So
if I can jump in, this is going to be Classen Boulevard and US Highway 77. The on-cue's on right there. Again, built just recently. The other side of your screen, on the left-hand side of your screen, off the picture, that's where the Life Church is going to be. And then Highway 9 right there in the background, just below that stoplight. You can see the overpass there. But that's where this video is. And I think we saw it just a tad bit earlier. But Josh, go ahead.
yeah, thanks, Coy. Just watching this video come in. And again, we're going to still have to wait a little bit of time to know for sure if all of this damage was from straight line winds or if it may have been a tornado as well in the Norman area. That's just something that the National Weather Service is going to have to go out and survey and let us know exactly what the cause of the damage will be. But again, we're going to have to bear with them here because they're going to have so many reports of damage from across our state to try to get to here, not only tomorrow, but over the coming days throughout the rest of this week. So if we can go ahead and take a statewide view of radar right now, I do want to emphasize what we were just about to get to, which is that we currently have just one tornado warning in progress right now, and this is for areas near Ponca City up in the far northern portions of our state. It is one more warning. It expires here in 6 minutes at 10:45, and looking at the velocity signatures on radar, from what I'm seeing, it doesn't appear as though the rotation is all that strong at this time. So we're going to hope that we can get this to expire, and then for the first time in I don't know how long, we may finally be free of tornado warnings across Oklahoma. That's the good news. That's what we're working toward here. But again, we still have that one tornado warning that continues for another 6 minutes for Ponca City and places just to the east up here in far northern Oklahoma near the Kansas state line. And then after that expires, it appears as though the threat will be pretty much confined to some strong straight line damaging wind gusts of 60 to 70 miles per hour as these storms continue to roll to the east. And again, here's a look at the tornado warning right now. There's just not a whole lot to see here. The rotation rather weak, rather broad, but again, the National Weather Service choosing to be caution and allowing the tornado warning to continue here through up to another 5 minutes, and then we do expect they will probably let this one go, and if they do, that's when we will finally have no tornado warnings across the state of Oklahoma. And actually, this is currently the only one in the whole country right now. So not seeing a whole lot of indication that there's any debris being lifted into the air on debris detector. And again, you just don't see a lot of green on the velocities, so we're not seeing a real strong couplet anywhere. There's certainly some heavy rainfall, and actually, if we can go ahead and take the hail mode to see if there's any hail showing up for these northern parts, and yeah, nothing showing up here. So just some heavy rain, lots of lightning, and strong winds with the chance of possibly a tornado developing, but there's just not a whole lot of evidence that that's occurring right now. And this warning is set to expire at 10:45. So once that is let go, we will still have several severe thunderstorm warnings across the state, but those are going to be moving into far eastern Oklahoma here eventually. So if we can kind of take the radar now and pan it down to the southeast, to the most intense line of storms right now that stretches from, just south of Tulsa down to areas south of McAllister. Yeah, this line here is where we have some wind gusts that could still be up around 60 to 70 miles per hour. Again, we can't completely rule out the chance of another spin-up tornado along this line, but as we get later and later into the evening, closer and closer to midnight, the chance of that starts to decrease. So We saw several tornado warnings throughout the state over the past several hours, but we're finally about to reach the downhill trend of this storm system in Oklahoma, at least in terms of the tornado potential. Still, though, some straight line damaging wind gusts, 60 to 70 miles per hour possible as the storms continue to push off to the east. So if we can now zoom out a little bit more, and then let's go ahead, and Coy has an update.
Yeah, can I get in here? We are getting reports from Norman Police, so NPD is on the scene of all this damage that we've been bringing you from southeast Norman right now, so along the 9 highway corridor, and they are asking people right now to limit 911 calls to injuries only. Do not report any damage via 911 to NPD. Please call 911 if you have injuries and need medical assistance, but do not call 911 to report damage. Again, they are on the scene and assessing all this information about potential injuries and the extent of the damage, but that's what we are getting in from NPD at this moment. Catherine?
Yeah, I'm going to jump in here. Back up to that storm, that tornado warning stormed up by Ponca City. Reports coming out of the mezzanette of wind gusts up to 86 miles per hour. So even if there is not a tornado touchdown, let's scroll up on that radar so we can go back to this storm. Even though there might not be a tornado touchdown, still very, very strong wind gusts coming out of this storm.
Yeah, certainly. Thanks for that report, Catherine. And have we received any word from the National Weather Service, because this warning was set to expire at 10:45? Have they indicated whether they're going to continue that warning or let it go just yet?
They have not. They have issued a severe thunderstorm warning for K, Oklahoma.
Okay, so it does look like they've extended this storm into a severe thunderstorm warning now. And let me go ahead and pull up the details on this.
Josh, the National Weather Service, Norman, this isn't severe weather, but they're seeing blowing dust with visibility down to 2 miles in western Oklahoma, and the dust should impact the OKC metro in the next 2 hours.
Wow, okay.
Yes.
You're just hearing that report now of blowing dust. Can you believe this? We have storms rolling through our state, but in places that we're not as lucky or unlucky to get the rain, the air is so dry, the ground so dry that now some extremely strong wind gusts picking up dust that is now expected to move into parts of the metro here over the next couple of hours. So that's something we'll be watching as well. Another side of this storm system, no more rain to worry about, but possibly dust. Corey Taylor with an update.
Okay, yeah. We're getting in NWS chat that the tornado warning for K County as the storm moves into Osage County, so near Pawhuska and up towards that area. They are replacing this tornado warning with a short duration severe thunderstorm warning until the line has moved out of K County, which is about ready to move into Osage County as we speak. And back to that point on the dust, we have live wind gusts from the mezzanette right now in southwestern Oklahoma. Again, the storms have since passed that area for the last couple of hours. I mean, it's in eastern Oklahoma right now, but we're still seeing non-thunderstorm wind gusts upwards of 50 miles per hour in western Oklahoma, and that's where that dust threat is coming in.
Yeah, and Coy, that was certainly a concern that we've been talking about over the past several hours, because this is such a strong storm system that the winds are so powerful even outside of the storms. Catherine?
It is official that a tornado warning has been allowed to expire for K and Noble County.
All right, so great news right now. At 10:46 p.m., we are free of tornado warnings across the state of Oklahoma. That is something that we have not been able to say over the past few hours, but it is finally true as these storms have transitioned to fully a damaging straight line wind event, which is still capable of causing significant damage, but at least we don't have to worry about tornadoes here in the imminent short term. There's still a very low chance of an additional tornado warning before these storms move out into Arkansas, but the instability, the storm energy over eastern Oklahoma is much lower. The conditions, the environment much less favorable for the development of tornadoes, so that potential seems to be decreasing here as we go throughout the late evening hours, getting close to 11 o'clock now, and then approaching midnight, and really by 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, the storms are going to be completely gone from Oklahoma, and that's where you heard Coy and Catherine talking about the potential for blowing dust. On the backside of this system, from the places that are drier out in the Texas Panhandle, some dust being picked up, and that's getting blown in because we have westerly winds here behind the storms because this storm system is just so strong. But let's just do one storm track. If we can just zoom out a little bit here, let's do one storm track of the most intense part of this line right here in eastern Oklahoma. And let's track this east at about 65 or 70 miles per hour, just so we can give the heads up to places in far eastern portions of the state here with this kind of last round of storms moving through. So this approaching areas really near the Arkansas border already. It'll be here within the next hour or two. As we take a look at some of the communities this is heading toward, the time of arrival is listed on the left side of your screen. It looks like it'll be moving into McAllister here very shortly, Muskogee a few minutes after the 11 o'clock hour begins, and then into Fort Smith. That's in Arkansas already by midnight. So this timing might be a little bit fast here, but yeah, these storms are just racing off to the east. This has been a trend. Really, they moved into far western Oklahoma between around 6 and 7 o'clock this evening, and they're already approaching the far eastern portions of our state. But again, right now, no tornado warnings. We do have several severe thunderstorm warnings that continue, mainly for the threats of damaging wind gusts up to 60 or 70 miles per hour. And that's really this most intense part of the line from just south of Tulsa down to north of the Red River. This extends really into the McAllister area. That's currently the greatest area of concern as the storms continue to move off to the east.
Josh, can I jump in for just 1 second? I think we are seeing, so we have like these two lines that we're monitoring, again, like you said, from Tulsa down towards the McAllister area, then near Wichita as well, just off towards the south, and what would be east of Wichita in northern Oklahoma, and south what would be East Kansas. So I think the strongest storms right now are, again, there in what would be northern Oklahoma that are getting energy right now, and well as what would be there near the McAllister area in northern Cole County. Those look to be the two strongest storms in the state. And like Josh said, no tornado warnings active in Oklahoma right now, but we do have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings pretty much from the Tulsa metro, their I-44 there in Tulsa, all the way south to Cole County, including that stronger storm. And we also have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for northern Kay and northern what would be Osage County. They're in northern Oklahoma, as both of these lines continue to progress off towards the east.
All right, thanks, Coy, and thank you for sticking with us here throughout the evening. I will say our folks in the control room are gathering up as many videos of the damage that we have seen in and around the Norman area as they can. We're going to show you those soon here as the storm threat for our part of the state has ended, and it's really starting to wind down even for eastern Oklahoma. These storms racing off to the east, no longer any tornado warnings. There are some severe thunderstorm warnings. Any hail with this is going to be very small, around the size of quarters in very isolated pockets, but really you can squint here and see that there's hardly any hail being picked up, if any, on our hail detector. So that is the good news out of this, is that it's mostly just some heavy rainfall. But on the flip side of that, these storms are not sticking around for long enough to produce a whole bunch of rain. So I don't know if any of us have had a chance to look at the Oklahoma Mesonet rainfall reports, but there haven't been any flood warnings issued. So that's kind of the good news of this, is we haven't had to worry about a whole lot of flooding as the storm damage cleanup return continues here across Norman, across campus, and across many other areas in our state that have seen similar storms roll through, whether it be in the form of a tornado or damaging winds. Lots of places across Oklahoma have experienced storm damage tonight. Colton?
Okay, yeah, let's talk about rainfall for just a minute, Josh. Like you said, these storms, they were hauling. They dropped a lot of heavy rain, but they were only overhead for a couple of minutes. Here, the Norman Mesonet, picked over just over 1/3 of an inch, but less than 4/10 of an inch. Oklahoma City picked up about 1/4 of an inch. Spotty totals around the state were anywhere from 2/10 to 4/10 of an inch. Folks up in the Northwest were fortunate enough to gather close to an inch in a lot of places. But overall, rainfall was not great with the storm system. We'll take any we can get. Also do want to pass along, no power is out in a lot of small communities just east of the Oklahoma City metro. The community of Prague, parts of the community of Meeker, most of the community of Shawnee without power right now, and hope that crews can kind of work through that hopefully into the overnight hours and before the morning tomorrow morning as kind of damage assessments continue. Okay, back to you.
Yeah, so the good part for crews trying to restore power is that there's really not a whole lot of rain behind this line. The bad part is that the winds are still quite strong, gusting 40 to 50 miles per hour for central up through western Oklahoma. And now we're learning of the potential for blowing dust. I mean, moving in from southwestern into central Oklahoma as well. So those are the bad parts of this. After the rain, the storms move through, we still have gusty winds to deal with and the potential for blowing dust that we're now seeing. Coy?
Yeah, I just want to jump on here real quick. And I know our news team is working so diligently right now to gather damage reports from across Norman, but just from what I've been seeing on social media, as well as reports that I've been getting personally to my phone, it looks like the area that has sustained the most damage is going to be north of 9 Highway, near that what would be hotel, the post office, NCED Hotel and Conference Center that does stuff with the USPS. Just a neighborhood north of there looks to be where the worst damage is from the photos that I've seen. Again, I've been here in the studio and only seen snapshots of what people have sent me. So I don't see a full picture because I'm not out there myself looking at all these areas, but it looks like the worst damage going to be near Conway Drive, Wheatland Drive, kind of in that area, to put that in perspective for our Norman viewers.
All right, thank you, Coy. And yeah, Coy has been doing a lot of work getting this set up for you and tracking the damage all night long, being back in the control room as well, and now providing some meteorological insight, keeping us updated. So we really appreciate the updates from Coy. And again, just a quick glance at the radar once again here at 10:54 on this Sunday evening. Notice the rain has ended across central Oklahoma. It's now moving into eastern Oklahoma with a threat for damaging wind gusts continuing. No active tornado warnings in our state. And then these storms will be moving into Arkansas here over the next couple of hours.
Okay. Just one thing before we kind of wrap up our coverage here. I want to pass this along. 9 Highway is now closed between 12th Avenue Southeast and up towards what would be 24th Avenue Southeast. So right where this tornado or possible tornado, we have not confirmed that with our National Weather Service partners, but right where this would have crossed over, right over Classen Boulevard. So 9 Highway is closed at 12th Avenue Southeast to 24th Avenue Southeast as well here in Norman. Okay, Dana, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Coy. Yeah, we're going to wrap this up and look at all of the confirmed damage that has happened here in Norman. Let's take a look at all the videos that we've received throughout the night. First, we're going to start off with a confirmed gas leak. This was confirmed, the one that with the car flipped on top of the house off Conway Drive. Oklahoma Natural Gas and Norman Fire Department are there on the scene working on repairing that. Now let's look over and take at the power lines that are down over by that new on-queue that was just built. That's over by Highway 9 as well. And this is a good time to remind you guys to not call 911 unless it is an injury. That was straight from Norman PD. Do not call 911 unless there is an injury. Here's another video of a Norman Regional bus that flipped on its side at the new Norman Regional right off of Highway 9 and 24th. That's just a whole entire bus that flipped. Shows how extensive that wind gusts were tonight. And next, we're going to look at that more power lines that were down right off of Highway 9, and Coy just said that street is still closed, so we're going to avoid that area. And Norman PD will post an extensive list later of where everything is damaged and where all those lines are down, but they do say to avoid the areas at possible. And again, we had that insulation, that was flying everywhere off of at a light on 12th. So thank you guys for tuning in. Those are just the confirmed damages that we have. But tomorrow on OU Nightly at 4:30, we will have more damage that is assessed, that we will assess throughout the night's damage in southeast Norman, where there are power lines down, there are trees uprooted, multiple roads are closed, and we will be covering that all tomorrow on OU Nightly at 4:30. Thank you guys for sticking with us. Amazing job to all of our weather experts tonight. Thanks for being here, and good night.